goals, assists.
Okay.
Like jot them down so we can review them easier.
Okay.
I've never done soccer before.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting.
The good thing is there'll be some downtime. Obviously, picking the ball around the back, whatever. I don't know. You'll see the game a lot different than I will because you've coached, so that's kind of what I was going to bank on you to kind of fill in on the tactical side of everything.
Sure.
And whatever. I can kind of bring the.
You can be the referee.
Yeah,
you can. It's a whole different
perspective and all that.
Yeah.
And laws of the game and all that fun stuff.
What is Cliff? What's his connection to this when they're having this? Because they said he's going to be watching, family's going to be watching. What's the connection for Cliff Shane? Like, is he? Are they? What's his connection to this?
To Buhler?
Why did they choose to do this game?
So I was reffing Buhler Winfield coming out starting the second half, and Chris was like, Brad, hold on a second. So I go over and he goes, hey, are you reffing next Tuesday? And I said, no. He goes, you want to broadcast the Buhler-Matt game? I said, the only thing I said is like, I will, but I need a commitment so I can block that day from arbiter so I don't referee, so they don't try to call me at the last minute. And he said, yeah, go ahead and block it. So
nice.
That's it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would have never thought we'd be doing it. Even when I texted you out last year, I'm like, it'd be fun to do a few of these over time, And
yeah. Did you see that Champions League game today?
I only saw the score. I didn't get a chance to watch. What's hilarious, my mother-in-law knows nothing about soccer. Now she'll be at home. I'll be running kids around. She's like, I'm watching this game. It's a great game.
Yeah, I mainly had it on for background noise when I was, we were on finals week, and gosh, just so much back and forth. It was wild. I got to watch overtime at home.
I finally took kids to a sporting game, first time, and it was supposed to be. They were playing. Well, let me think about this now.
So wasn't that gorgeous game on Saturday?
It was no. It was it Minnesota? Gosh, it was Minnesota, I believe. And they were playing, and it turned out it snowed. Sporting was down 3-0, and they came back in the last 22 minutes to tie it up to end up 3-0.
If you want to like your mics, because we're on now.
10 seconds. 9,
Test.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Test. Ooh, there we go.
3, 2,
Test.
1. Time.
I'm pretty loud there now. Turn myself down a little bit. Okay. McPherson hosting Buhler, and my tour. I'm 2, aren't I? Okay. Yep. Still kind of loud. What? No, I'm sorry. You're 1. I'm 2. That's why mine's not changing. There we go. Yeah. So for pregame, I just thought, we'll just kind of introduce ourselves for the soccer crowd a little bit. I thought we'd dive in a little bit into how both teams, it seems like every March, early April, they may not be as good as they were last year. Then May comes around and they're both top 4 again. And talk a little bit about their history with, Mac usually winning regionals, Buhler having a lot of strong teams through the years too. I know you coached against Chris. I don't know if you ever coached against Rank or not.
Only when he was an assistant.
Okay.
Under Tim.
So you coached against Miriam too then, huh?
Only 1 year. I did that interim year.
Yeah.
Just when Chris left because I wanted somebody to come in. They didn't have anybody, and so I thought if they could find somebody in a year, then I can kind of give the reins away. And then I went to the dark side of administration.
I know that Josie was disappointed she didn't get to play good, but she liked Daniel.
Yeah, and he did a good job as well. And I know she had really positive things to say, and Daniel and I we still keep in touch, and so.
She said that Daniel and her Dylan Grunsel, she said those were probably her 2 favorite coaches from a perspective of that they trusted her, a lot.
Dylan, we did some quarter camps together early on. Went to an NSCAA coaching course, and kind of met up, and eventually did some camps together, and so.
Great guy.
He is a great guy.
I love Dylan. Hope he can get it going at Newman. It's a tough job.
Yes.
He was telling me that it just seems like this year in Wichita, the whole area, he thinks that not many seniors are wanting to play in college, and the ones that do aren't like, what he needs. Goal scorers, mainly. But doesn't everybody need that?
Right. Yeah, well, what I see on the weekends is, and this is what we're doing right now as well, we're doing Sunday softball, Monday soccer, Tuesday volleyball and basketball, Thursday. By the time they get up to 18, 19, they're tired, and so then they got to make that decision. Do I want to do this? And it's a commitment. It's not. It's everybody's very similar in their playing ability, and so. I remember Josie Armstrong's our counselor, and she was great at Buhler. And she goes, I didn't really have to work until I got to Division II in Emporia. And she's like, this is what work looks like. She didn't understand it because she could just go out and just dominate. Then she gets to that level, and she's thinking, this is going to be work, and you don't know what I think they understand what they're going into, and they just want to have a life. Unfortunately, it's a burnout early, I think, and.
Well, this Sammy, when I spoke to her back when I reffed their first game, she said she's not playing in college. And I know that Dylan was recruiting her. So
yeah, it's kind of like the Radley Arnold story, And
is he still playing for the Wings? And all
I don't
that?
know, but I mean, he picked it back up over time.
Hey,
hello.
What's up, man?
Not much. How you got? Everything going good?
I think.
Cool.
They were doing
So far.
I'd bring this for Carson. It's an umbrella.
Oh, okay. Look at you. How nice.
I came in and it was already
Lightning.
sprinkling by the time I was driving here. So I was like, I have this and an umbrella. You're such a nice guy. I try. This is more of a sun umbrella, but it can be used for rain.
Are you doing baseball as well?
I would imagine I'll be helping with regionals and all that.
And did I just see that Josie graduated? Just
She
graduated?
did. She's gonna.
Isn't that wild?
She had her. She coaches at Tonganoxie this spring,
Nice.
but she couldn't be there today because she's got her orientation with her job with the Kansas City Current.
What's she doing there? That's awesome.
She's it's only part-time, but it's marketing. But they told her during the season it's going to be pretty regular, pretty steady, quite a bit of work.
Wow.
It's going to be a lot of like remote. When I say remote, I mean like on-site stuff, like Spirit Fest in Casey. The Current will have a booth there. She'll be working the booth.
Nice.
She's kind of hoping maybe after this season something full-time will open. So
Tyler Loudon works for the organization. He was doing grounds crew at Sporting, and then was focusing on the Casey Current. Now he kind of runs an offshoot of everything. He's in charge and has a couple people working under him, but he's there for all the games and gets to do all the ground crew stuff and come out of the tunnel and wave at the crowd. And so it's kind of fun to see him stick with soccer.
Yeah, I remember interning when they were the Wizards. Go to Arrowhead, there'd be 10,000 people there, but.
Right.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to McPherson High School. We're going to have at Astra Radio's coverage of high school, not baseball, not softball, not track, but soccer. I believe this is one of the first times, maybe the first time that Ad Astra Radio has ventured into soccer, and this is Brad Hallier. I'll be bringing you all the action, be joined along with probably the only person at Ad Astra who knows more about soccer than I do. That is former Hutchinson High School coach Brad Benz, and we're going to have quite a lot to discuss here in the pregame as this rivalry will, as always, two teams that are battling for the top four spots in regional play, among other things, and they're both sitting in the top four at the moment. And, of course, they had two tremendous games last year. Buhler won the regular season game in Buhler 2-1 in overtime. And then in the regional finals, it was kind of an interesting deal that Buhler hosted, McPherson hosted Buhler, even though Buhler won. What happened was there's a three-way tie for, I think it was, it was just a big old tie. I think it was 4th, 5th, and 6th. But because the three teams all didn't play each other, they had to go to goal differential. And actually, it went down all the way to goals allowed. So I think McPherson had one fewer goal allowed, and so they won the regional finals here 2-0, a game I was actually the official for. So like I said, I've been here as a sports dad. My son Landon played for Buhler. And then I've been here as a referee, and now I'm here as a broadcaster, and now I'm glad to be joined alongside Brad Benz. Brad, thanks for coming up here and joining me for this broadcast.
You and I, we have a lot of history from the time that you were covering the high school sports when I was coaching, and so it's a pleasure to be along with you as well, Brad. And so I think there's always a healthy rivalry between McPherson and Buhler, and I know the coaches. There's a lot of respect between these coaches, and I was fortunate enough to be able to coach against Coach Adrian, and Coach Rank was an assistant for Buhler, the boys at that time when I was coaching, almost 10 years ago. And so one thing I can tell you about both coaches is when I say healthy respect, they have their teams prepared because they know that you can kind of throw out records and you can throw out form when these two teams get together, and it's always a great matchup, and as you mentioned, always tight games.
We had a chess match, for lack of a better word. McPherson currently has a half-game lead. They're in third place on McPherson, who's a half-game, or on Buhler, who's a half-game back in fourth place. And you look at these teams, and Brad, we were talking before we went on, and it seems like every March, early April, we look at the standings and we think, oh, it looks like McPherson might be a little bit down this year. Oh, it looks like Buhler's not quite as good as they were last year. The next thing you know, they're playing home games in regionals, playing for regional championships, advancing into the playoffs. What does that say to you that it seems like that's a current theme for both these teams?
Well, I think a lot of it, I know Coach Rank is trying to start a program in Buhler just for these players to develop them over time into the Buhler program. I think McPherson has a great developmental program as well, and so it starts with the young ages, and you get those kids that see success year in and year out, and not just in one program, but all the sports programs, and I think that really helps. And as a coach, you're always trying to break the season down into really thirds. That's how we always did it. The first third is you're trying to figure out your team. You're trying to look at some strengths. The second third, now that you understand your team, you're trying to work on some of the details within those strengths, and then you're trying to refine the last third of the season, things that you do really well. And so both these teams and both these coaches do a great job of that, which is why they're always in the hunt at the end of the year.
Absolutely. McPherson comes into this game with looks like I'm missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 3. Is that right?
I think they're 9 and 4.
9 and 4. Okay. So yeah, the Bullpups. Oh, there's the fourth loss. Yeah, 9 and 4 on this season, and Buhler 8 and 4. And again, kind of going back to earlier in the season, when it was mid-April, McPherson was 4 and 3, coming off a 2-0 loss to Rose Hill, a good Rose Hill team. Meanwhile, Buhler at one point this year was 3 and 3, and then since then they've won 5 of their last 6, which is also the case with McPherson. So that once again shows you that what they've got going on here, and as far as improving throughout the season. We're going to take a 2-minute break here. We're going to come back with more of the Midway Motors Drive to the Game. Well, plenty more. We have our game plan from Erickson Custom Building and much more to come up here on the Midway Motors Drive to the Game. So stick around. For the Midway Motors broadcast booth, you're listening to high school soccer coverage on Astra Radio.
Motors Drive to the Game. Midway Motors, for every mile of life. More local sports coverage at astraradio.com with exclusive stories and game day audio.
Are you done with punching the clock or constant work travel? Do you have 15 or more acres? Find freedom by joining America's #1 free-range egg brand, Happy Egg. Happy Egg is looking for growers to raise happy hens. Happy Egg offers startup and new flock cost support and yield-based compensation. Work from home. Work for yourself. Feed America. Visit happyeggfarms.com today for more information. Happy Egg is a proud supporter of McPherson County Athletics.
Do you own a business? Would you like to bank with a fellow locally owned business? Hi, this is Lucas Sawyer, Executive Vice President with the Prairie Bank of Kansas. At Prairie Bank, we love working with our locally owned businesses. We understand the challenges businesses face because we're local just like you. Stop by and see us at our Stafford, Buhler, Inman, or Hutchinson branches today, or check out prairiebankks.com. Member FDIC, Prairie Bank of Kansas, how banking should be.
Krupp Lumber in Heston has been serving as the Marvin window and door dealer for many years. I'm Jared, and there's a reason why I only put Marvin windows in my parents' home. Marvin windows have thick, extruded, Krynar painted aluminum that will stand up to any hailstorm. At Krupp Lumber in Heston, you will find more Marvin windows and doors on display with French sliding bifold and patio doors. You will be amazed. I invite you to come see for yourself. Krupp Lumber, service is our specialty.
Done with punching the clock? Long hours away from home or constant work travel? Do you have 15 or more acres? Find freedom by joining America's #1 free-range egg brand, Happy Egg. Happy Egg is looking for growers to raise happy hens. Happy Egg offers startup and new flock cost support and yield-based compensation. Add some happy to your life. Work from home. Work for yourself. Feed America. Visit happyeggfarms.com today for more information.
At AstraRadio.com.
And we're welcome back to McPherson High School. Brad Hallier and Brad Binns getting ready to bring you action of this high school girls soccer game between Buhler and McPherson as we continue with the Midway Motors drive to the game. Let's get into our game plan now from Erickson Custom Building. Get a game plan for your new build or remodel online at ericksoncustomBLDG.com. And Brad, let's first talk about the visiting team here, the Buhler Crusaders. I do think that Buhler, I know that both teams want to play their game, possess, all that stuff. But I think for Buhler, what they need to do is they have to really stay patient to get the ball in this game. They can't chase all over the field. They can't let McPherson. It's okay to give up some possession, but they just can't chase, and they need to stay patient, I think, in this game. It's okay to give up possession. There's nothing wrong with that. We see it all the time. Professional soccer team has 30-35%, and they end up winning the game. But I think that's fine for Buhler to do that, but they just can't get impatient if McPherson starts controlling the game.
Right, you talk about being opportunistic and disciplined. I mean, that's what you talk about Buhler specifically. They have to be disciplined and stay concentrated and compact because there's going to be they may give up more possession, as you were mentioning, and that's okay. But when they get the ball, what are they going to do with it that's productive? And you say patient, and I think a lot of people think patient when they don't have the ball, but it's also patient when they do have the ball. And when they have those opportunities in that attacking third, what can they do with it creatively to create some goal-scoring opportunities?
And now let's talk about the McPherson Bullpups now, and for their game plan here. I think in a rivalry game like this, both teams are playing really well. I think an early goal can really kind of, not only lift your team, but it can also be a gut punch for the other team. So for McPherson, I think, it could be 1-0, it could be 3-2. We don't know. But I think for Mac, if they can get themselves an early goal and really, impose their will on this game, that's going to be big for them, I think.
Well, yeah, and to your point about Buhler, if Mac gets up 1-0, then does Buhler start chasing and getting out of shape a little bit? Do they start to become less disciplined because they're trying to press a bit more? And so McPherson being home, both are battling for those playoff seeds, and so I think that's a really important concept of who gets that first goal, and then does somebody else drop back in a tight, drop back in the back line or a low block so that they're defending with 11 people behind the ball. We could see how that would go for Buhler if they got a goal early on as well.
Both teams continue with their warm-ups out there. Buhler's actually retreated to their sidelines. It's a little bit interesting here, and as a referee, for a fan, I don't think it really matters, but it always interests me as a referee to see the teams on the opposite sides like that. I know from an administration perspective, they probably like it and all that. As a ref, I'm not sure if I do like it or not. I kind of like the convenience of both teams on the same side like that, but I understand why they have it on the opposite sides like that.
Yeah, when you're playing a club, younger kids, I enjoy parents on that side so they can be on the side where the team's at. They're in the same line. They're kind of a unit together. I think when it gets to some of these older, I kind of like the I don't know, there's just another energy that it's been added into the equation when you have the opposing coach and the opposing players just down the bench a little bit further.
As an assistant referee, though, I definitely like this because there is absolutely nobody in the corners that the assistant referees will be running up and down the sideline. I do, for our listeners who may not know, I do referee a lot of high school soccer. I will actually be in Buhler on Thursday. I'll be one of the assistant referees for their, which should be a pretty good test against a good Salina South team, a young Salina South team that's had a lot of success this year. Let's see, what else we got to go to in our, let's go ahead and do our starting lineups. Brad, you want to run down the McPherson starting lineups here? They'll be playing in the 4-4-2 formation.
Yeah, they're playing with a diamond in the middle. They're starting in the back with goalkeeper number 0, Ellie Herrera. And then their defensive lines, number 24, Ruth Diaz Shai, followed by number 20, Audra Sandbo, number 22, Brody Kuhn, and number 28, Reagan Broadus. In the middle, kind of playing as a holding midfielder is Ken Adele. On the outsides in that midfield, number 7, Grace Prescott. Number 9, Addison Shaft. On the right side, and up at attacking midfielder, number 4, Olivia Villalobos. And then you have the 2 forwards, number 3, Ellie Bauer, and number 12, Becca Liloff. And I thought what was interesting from Coach Adrian, he said, our spine, the middle of our team is really, really impressive. They're an impressive group. But yet we also have 3 freshmen on the back line. So those 3 freshmen have really stepped up, and they're varsity players, whether they're in 9th grade or 12th grade. And so they've made a lot of strides, and he's really proud of them this year.
A common theme for Buhler and Mac is they always have a good mix of youth and upperclassmen, and this year is certainly no different. By the way, your starting lineup sponsor tonight is Ag 360 Insurance. Ag 360 Insurance is here to partner in your legacy. Contact agents Darren Eddy or Cody Moores in Edmond. Now let's get to the starting lineups for the visiting team tonight, the Buhler Crusaders, coached by Randall Rank. They will start a pretty experienced defensive back, including senior Ashlyn Coker, sophomore Taylor Crafels. Also start senior Elena Williams, and then rounding out the defensive starters will be junior Kenzie Polk. Across the midfield, they'll play a 4-3-3 formation. They'll start freshman Lakin Yoder, also senior Juliet Shank, and also the talented sophomore Maddie McCool, who missed a couple games with a knee injury. Glad to see it was nothing serious, and she is back in the lineup here. And then up top, the Crusaders will start senior Alyssa Berner, senior Natalia Crafels. Where's my other forward at? And then there it is, senior Alyssa Berner, and starting in goal will be Sammy Brooks, the talented senior goalkeeper who I was talking to her before a game this year, and unfortunately she, at the time, and I don't know if anything has changed or not, told me she was not going to play soccer in college, and kind of broke my heart a little bit as a father of a goalkeeper. Sammy, one of the best goalkeepers in the state, Brad.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Maddie McCool, and I guess it's a Morgan Elementary School shout-out. So when I was an administrator, I was an assistant principal at Morgan, Maddie McCool was a student there, and so that's kind of fun to watch her develop and grow over time and now be one of the leaders on this Buhler Crusader soccer team.
All right, so we owe you another 2-minute break. We'll just kind of wait to get to that until they line up and have the lineups and anthem and all that fun stuff. We'll have updates throughout the evening. Are we having a scoreboard today? Actually, we don't, but heck, this is a soccer game, man. We could talk about that great game earlier today over in Italy. Inter Milan defeating Barcelona 4-3 in the Champions League semifinals. What a game that was. I kind of had on background noise today, but wow, what a tremendous game. They tied 3-3 in Barcelona. Tomorrow we'll have PSG making the trip. They'll host actually tomorrow in Paris. They'll host Arsenal to try to get the other Champions League final. It's a great time in soccer. MLS just getting underway. Europe getting wrapped up. My Liverpool.
Yep, I wondered how many Liverpool references were going to be in the broadcast today, but they played well this year and then ran away with the league title. So,
yeah, champions of England. They. Boy, so many times have been so close to Manchester City through the years, and it's just ironic that their 2 titles in the last few years have actually been dominant. There hasn't been a lot of drama here late in the season. Teams are getting ready to line up, and they do the walkout on opposite sides, and then they'll have the starting laps and national anthem. As I said, we'll try to time it so we don't really miss anything here. Your uniform sponsor tonight is McPherson Laundry. Just like today's teams, McPherson Laundry can help you look like a winner. McPherson Laundry, it's where you take your clothes. The Buhler Crusaders, we dress in their all whites, trimmed by maroon letters, maroon numbers, maroon stripe up and down the side. And for the Bullpups, they'll be dressed in their home red, their home Liverpool red. Chris Adrian would say that's their Manchester United red. I vehemently disagree with them. White numbers, white letters outlined in black.
This is always the time that you're feeling the emotions a little bit. You're a little bit nervous out there, and I appreciate when I talked to Coach Adrian. He said, we want to be intense, and we want to create opportunities early and put some pressure on, but he goes, sometimes we just need to remember this is a fun game. We need to have fun as well. So I think that's what he said he was going to appreciate. We're going to be intense, and we're going to have fun. I think sometimes we get caught up in all the hoopla before the game, and then we step on the field and those nerves go away.
And we talked a little bit about the need or not necessarily the need, but if McPherson was going to win this game, it would be best if they got to a strong start. They got the trio Shaft, Luloff, and then they also have Prescott, all with at least 11 goals. Shaft leads the team with 13 goals, 3 assists. Ellie Bauer, though, 9 goals and 8 assists. I know she can play more than defense, but that is primarily she's been playing forward, actually. And then, of course, Prescott, Luloff, and Shaft doing all the work there. Olivia Villalobos, though, 11 assists on the season, a sensational playmaker. And then for Buhler, they're very balanced. Michaela Jarrett leads the way with 8 goals on the season. Maddie McCool with 7. They got Natalia Crafels and Juliet Schenk with 4 apiece. Juliet is one of the team leaders in assists, along with Crafels with 5 apiece. So a little bit different. Both teams are kind of balanced, although at the top I would think that McPherson has the kind of the bigger guns. Buehler's got kind of the more balanced approach to things.
Yep, and I think, again, you mentioned McPherson focusing on that possession aspect and switching points of attack, switching the field, trying to get the ball up and then wide. Buhler is just going to maintain their discipline, and we continue to say that. And if they maintain their discipline, they're going to create some opportunities for them.
Well, we owe you another 2-minute break, so we're going to go ahead and take that now. We'll come back with more of the Midway Motors Drive to the Game. We get you set for the opening kick when we come back from the Midway Motors broadcast booth. You're listening to high school soccer coverage on Astra Radio.
We've got more of the Midway Motors Drive to the Game coming up. Midway Motors, committed to helping you find the right vehicle. Stream the game of the week online at AdAstraRadio.com or download the Ad Astra Radio app.
For over 80 years, Farm Bureau Financial Services has served the unique needs of the ag industry. We get to know you and your operation, providing coverage for your farm, ranch, machinery, crops, livestock, and so much more. Find out why we've been the #1 ag insurer for 25 years. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Call Farm Bureau agent Luke Bauer in McPherson at 620-241-0225.
#1 ag insurer across our territory. 1996 to 2021 SNL P&C Group Direct Written Premium.
Whether you're craving a hearty breakfast, a light lunch, or something to grab on the go, the local table in North Newton has you covered. Open Wednesdays through Sundays. Their seasonal menu features select, locally sourced ingredients, offering the best flavors from the community to your plate. And don't miss out on their Sunday specials, crafted with care just for you. Stop by the local table in North Newton today, where fresh food and friendly faces are always on the menu.
LS Tractor is your performance pack tractor for all seasons, now offering 0% for 120 months on select models, including our 57 horsepower hydrostat. Our universal skid steer quick attach makes switching a breeze. Our tough heavy lifting loaders give you more strength. Add a third function easily and get your grapple on. Get a wide range of capabilities, attachments, and implements. Visit Moundridge Tractor and get more features for less money, where customer service has been our business since 1985. Start blue, stay blue with LS Tractor.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Devin. Together we are Stamatic of Central Kansas, with a new location at 209 North Main in downtown McPherson. We are here to help, offering water, fire, and smoke restoration, mold remediation, carpet and upholstery cleaning, as well as hard surfaces like tile and even grout cleaning. Don't forget about the places you can't see, like air ducts and dryer vents. Find us on Facebook or online at StamaticofCentralKS.com for a free estimate to see how Stamatic of Central Kansas can help you.
Oh, and honey, don't forget.
Call Stamatic, you'll be ecstatic.
AdAstraRadio.com.
You've been listening to the Midway Motors Drive to the Game here on AdAstraRadio.com. Brad Hallier and Brad Binns getting ready to bring you high school soccer action from McPherson High School as the Buhler Crusaders and McPherson Bullputs getting ready to start what should be a very good game between two of the best teams in Class 4A West. Both teams are currently in position to host or have home field advantage, I should say, throughout regionals. The new format, though, this year. As a former coach, Brad, I don't know how you feel about this now. The semifinals are played at home sites. So the #1 seed even carries even more meaning, which right now is Wichita Trinity. The #2 seed right now is Rose Hill. that would guarantee home field advantage throughout quarterfinals. 3 and 4 get it throughout regionals. So what do you think of the semifinals being playing at home sites?
Yeah, like I think it does. It does put emphasis on those top two teams. You know, when you start talking about teams, we can really get into a private college as opposed to public college and things like that. And we can get into some things that people may be uncomfortable with. But I think you earn that opportunity to play at home, and I think it brings the community together, and it brings people to the community that's producing this quality soccer. So I do like that.
The Buhler Crusaders will be kicking off. They'll be attacking the south goal headed toward the high school. The Bullpups will be attacking the north goal headed toward the scoreboard. Very little wind, which is shocking to say in April in Kansas, and the ball is kicked off, and we are underway here at McPherson High School. Long ball, and the Crusaders trying to take advantage here early on. They tried to play the long ball there to Juliet Shank. Now there's Villalobos in the middle of the park. She is a very, very talented midfielder. Play the ball up in the middle of the park. Villalobos has it. Tries to play the ball through. A good look there, looking for Luloff, but just went out of reach to Brooks. And, you know, for these teams that constantly play on turf, boy, it's that could have been a pretty good ball on grass, Brad.
Absolutely, and it does change. I think it's a disadvantage when you're playing on grass because there's so much turf available. As you see McPherson right now, they're really working on that first touch Coach Adrian talked about, so can they get that first touch out of their feet and then be creative in the attacking third.
Lobos has it rolled by her. Now the Bullpups will work it back. As Diaz Shea. Now down the left side, Prescott attacking. Left-footed surge into the box. Good look into the middle there. As Luloff had a shot blocked. Another shot is blocked again, and this time it's cleared away by the Crusaders, but not out.
One of the most difficult passes to defend is that 45-degree cut ball from the outside midfield cutting back in.
Now the play is broken up and taken away by the Crusaders. Jarrett down the left side. Now she has her pocket picked. Here come the Bullpups back the other way, far side of the field. That's Diaz. No, the ball goes out of bounds for a goal kick. Can see you on the far side over there. Is that Kuhn over there that made that run down the side? I think it was. No. I can't quite tell who that is on the far side there for McPherson.
Or Broadus, maybe.
Let's see. We got Broadus. Sambo's in the middle of the park. Yeah, we'll get it figured out here. Goal kick for Brooks. Sends it long. Ball's taken briefly by the Bullpups. Now a long pass is going to be headed over to Berner, trying to fight off of the defender. Berner's going to be able to get to this one on the far side. Oh, bad touch, and it's going to go out of bounds, but deep. And a chance for the Crusaders to push up here and try to pin the Bullpups in with a throw-in deep in McPherson territory.
Yeah, those are, we talk about being advantageous there and taking advantage of situations, putting some pressure on when your players facing their own goal, not allowing them to turn is what you saw Buhler do there. And as you notice in high school, there's not a lot of throw-ins that are successfully won or possession that comes out of it. And so it's a great opportunity for a turnover to go to goal quickly.
Ball's turned over, as you mentioned, after a throw-in. Mopped up there by Coker on the far side. The Bullpups try to get possession back, and they do. That's Shaft on the far side. Throw-in goes to Dale. She flicks it on. Now Villalobos comes over and gets the ball. Tried to play a pass into space, but it was well read there by Williams. Now here come the Bullpups again. They don't have numbers, but Villalobos is going to attack, sends it down into the left corner, looking for Prescott. Will she be able to catch up to this? She will. Cuts it back onto her right foot, tries to cross it. And the Bullpups, well, there's a bad clearance there as they'll didn't cost the Crusaders that time.
McPherson really attacking down this left side early on. So we've seen McPherson have possession, and they're attacking third for the majority of this first 4 minutes. And they've been going from right to left and getting down that left side, looking to cross the ball in.
Much like the matchup that Jarrett has on the left side here for the Bullpups. Diaz Shake clears in. Now the Shank plays it up. Gets it over to Jarrett. Good defense there by the Bullpups, though, knocking the ball away. That was Villalobos. She's got now in Prescott into the penalty area. Pass, good pass there. Shot is blocked. That was Luloff who had it. Ludloff looked just a little uncertain there when she got the ball in the box there.
A little hesitant. They're going to have those opportunities. I mentioned that 45-degree pass, just an angled pass from the outside. It's really hard to defend. She got it twice and then probably had an extra touch that she didn't need, and that closed the gap. The defender closed the gap.
Pass goes into the penalty area. Sammy Brooks reads it well. Talented senior goalkeeper. Letting everybody push up. There's a wonderful punt there by Brooks. You know, Brad, the one thing that I was always kind of surprised is, on long punts like that, and you see it at the youth level, you see it at the high school level, you see it at the college level, that sometimes the players don't react until the ball bounces, then they try to catch up instead of taking that chance,
right?
And maybe thinking that they're going to miss the ball.
We always sent one player beyond the line. So when I was coaching, I said, no matter what, one goes over just in case that one moment of time, and it could be, a semifinal game, goes over and you get an opportunity. But we always talked about heels on toes, being on toes of the player so that you can get in front of them to receive that ball out of the air.
Coker reads the danger, tries to clear it out. Now Villalobos has it for the Bullpups in the middle of the park, some 30 yards from the goal. She's going to go at the defense. Left side into the penalty area. Not a lot of numbers up here for the Pups. Villalobos plays it, gets it back, across to the far post, and as they would say in baseball, that was a can of corn.
Yep, it was. And we're seeing number 18 for Buhler. I believe that's... or number 16, Elena Williams is getting caught up a little bit on the line, a little bit higher than the rest of her line, and so it's becoming kind of an issue as Grace Prescott continues to get that ball on the left side for McPherson. She's just not so far connected with her defensive line, and that's hurting them a little bit.
Berner plays the good long ball, and it's going to be mopped up there. However, good job cleaning up the danger there for McPherson. That was Audra Sambo, a freshman. Crusaders trying to keep possession here. They're going to get it now. Opportunity, long shot from distance, and a good strike there from Buhler. That was Lakin Yoder with a good strike right into the hands of goalkeeper Ellie Herrera.
Yeah, putting pressure on, forcing McPherson to kick the ball out of bounds. McPherson then gives up a little quick pass across the middle, and Buhler has a great shot at goal.
Our first foul of the game is going to go against the Bullpups as Maddie McCool got knocked to the turf. We're in the 7th minute right now, no score.
You made a really good point earlier, Brad, when you said, Buhler's going to have to weather the storm a bit. And we always talked about how many minutes are you actually playing a game, and it typically was 55 to 57 minutes where the ball was in play. And so when you're Buhler, can you maintain for that 55-minute time and put pressure on effectively? And there's an example. The goalkeeper bobbled the ball, and we have three Buhler girls running in, but maybe didn't expect it to land. Those are being advantageous, trying to get an advantage there. Opportunistic.
It does feel like that Buhler has kind of withstood that early pressure as the Crusaders are trying to mount a little something here. Yoder loses it. Villalobos has it, plays in the middle of the park actually that was Villalobos that had it. Looking for the through ball to Bauer. That's going to go, rolls all the way back to Brooks.
And for Buhler, they with those three freshmen in the back line for McPherson, you're really wanting to test them, especially in a pressurized game. When there's a lot of pressure on, how are those freshmen going to react? So, they're trying to do a few long balls, through balls early on, and I wonder if that's by design to test that back line of McPherson.
Crusaders trying to get possession here. There's McCool running onto it. McCool tries to slot the pass looking for, that was Shank. Goes all the way to the goalkeeper, however, and Herrera gobbles it up. It's quite a time for the Herrera family. Older sister Addie Herrera had that 18-inning complete game for McPherson, outdueling Peyton Harberger from Wamego, who's headed to Tennessee next year. Now here come the Crusaders into the penalty area. Don't have a lot of numbers up there. Trying to wriggle her way free is Crayful. She plays it across. Decent ball there. Herrera comes up and gobbles up. Good effort there by Natalia Crayful to keep the ball alive and play the ball across the middle. Crusaders didn't really have a lot of options there in the penalty area.
No, and I noticed that they're getting pretty spread. The defense is staying back.
Yes.
And you got your forwards and your attacking midfielder moving up. You want to see them a little bit more together so that they can work as a unit and get more people in the box.
I felt like in the first 6-7 minutes, we're now in the 10th minute, that perhaps Buhler, as they turn the ball over here, Villalobos has it. Plays it left side to Prescott. Prescott 1v1 on the left side. Gets around her defender, plays it across. A little bit trouble clearing the ball. Getting to the ball first was Rebecca Luloff. She hits it over the crossbar, though. But I was just going to say that it does feel like that Buhler is starting to settle into this game a little bit there. Some shaky moments still at the back, but oh boy, I hate to say something like this, but against a team like McPherson, you're only going to get away with it so many times.
Right. Yep. And I agree with you. They're definitely getting their footing. I think both back lines have been a little shaky. I do think Buhler's done a good job marking those players on those crosses. They just have gotten beat on that outside to give up several of those crosses.
Yeah, they're in right positioning on those crosses. I mean, there's really been no danger. It's just getting it away from that danger that's been a problem. Jared on the left side now. Gives over to McCool. Let's see if McCool uses her speed. Cuts it back inside. Still has it. There's a good tackle away. Juliet Schenk has it. Plays it back. Now the Bullpups get it back. On the right side, attacking down the right side.
Boy, that's Addison Shaft over there.
Thank you. Danger is well read there. Ball. Oh, no, Turf Monster came up there.
She was in a great position, though. You want to be in these pockets or these seams, and you don't want to all be running in the same line as we see number 7, Grace Prescott again.
Yeah, here she comes again. Gets it onto her right foot. Oh, ball's deflected, and, boy, that could have been dangerous. Boy, when you get that shot that is deflected, it just the deflection actually took a lot of the meat out of the shot there. But, boy, that just, as a goalkeeper, that's just a huge fear, and because that ball can go anywhere.
Yeah, that was you never knew. To us, it looked like it was going closer to the goal right up here at this angle, I wonder what Buhler's going to have to make a tactical adjustment on that left side.
Yeah.
Maybe move that center back a little bit further over or drop a holding mid end to help support that. We'll see what Coach Rank thinks about doing.
When Maddie McCool gets called for the foul, one of my biggest weaknesses as a referee is calling the foul too soon when maybe advantage could have played out. I think McCool probably could have had advantage there, but at the same time, I'm sure that Buhler won't mind slowing the game down a little bit here.
And this allows them to get up the field.
Get some numbers down there, yeah.
And so it is a numbers game. You're trying to get numerical advantage, and you want more numbers around the ball than the other team, so it helps them in that respect.
Burner trying to get it back for the Bullpups. There's a decent ball up looking for Villalobos, but as we knocked out of bounds and off of Villalobos, it's going to, nope, it's kept in. Well done by Prescott. Boy, she's been a menace here early in the first 13 minutes. Villalobos plays it into the middle of the park. Gets it over to Rebecca Luloff. Now on the far side. That's Shaft. Looking to attack into the corner. Good cutback by Shaft. Can she get to it? No, she can't. Cleared away. And then once again, the organization of this Buhler defense is on point.
Yeah, it's one thing about McPherson and Buhler, who they play throughout the year. They have some games that are games that they can really work on things, and then they have games that are really tough. The Rose Hill games, the Trinity games, the Bishop Mièges, and so they have a really good mix of games to really work on some things. So they've both been tested in the back line. So this pressure isn't going to be something that they haven't seen.
Yeah, I really like how Chris Adrian plays Bishop Miège regularly, boys and girls. I think it's admirable, and of course it's great that Nate Huppy is willing to travel over to McPherson every other year from Bishop Miège. 14th minute, no score. You can stream today's game on your phone with the Astra Radio app powered by Nextech Wireless. Shop the latest phones and devices at the best prices. Nextech Wireless, your streaming sponsor of today's game. Got a couple subs for both teams getting ready to check in. Two for Buhler, one on the near side here for McPherson. That's Allison Randa getting ready to check in. But first, Bauer plays in the middle of the park, gets it over to Villalobos. Villalobos slots a good pass over to Prescott. Prescott just inside the box. Back to Bauer. Bauer right foot shot, and it's in the goal. Wonderful attack there for the McPherson Bullpups as Bauer gets the the Bullpups on the board. It's 1-0.
Yeah, what happened in the back line, McPherson did a nice job recognizing they went from one side to the other. Again, the left side, center back had to move over to support the outside defender, outside back, who came toward the middle to defend. And what happened was when the center back moved toward the outside back spot, that middle position was open, and she It was a great shot. You got to give her credit. Shot from that deep. You don't see a lot of goals scored from that length in any soccer game.
So Bauer puts the Crusaders on the board for Ellie Bauer. That she is now in the fourth Bullpup with at least 10 goals this year. That's her 10th goal for Villalobos, her team leading 12th assist. My goodness.
And it came from it. We've been talking, you and I, about the outside end, coming from the outside, going back to the middle, that cut, that pass in the middle, and so that was an example of a goal from that.
There's a foul on the Crusaders. And, nothing changes right now for Buhler. It's you're going to need a goal to win a game anyway, so they need to score at some point. It's only 1-0 and plenty of time left. But I do think these next 10 minutes are going to be pretty big for Buhler if they can maintain, the things that have been happening, try to get some possession, etc. They can't get down on themselves, though.
We always talked about first 5 of the half, last 5, and the next 5 after a goal was given up to see how we come out. Those are important time frames in the game. And again, I'd like to see Buhler getting these spaces because there are spaces available, specifically in the middle of the field. Almost if you're looking at the bullpup sign, you'll see that, or that insignia in the middle of the field, you'll see that there's some open gaps and space for somebody to run into and really create some havoc. So we'd like to see Buhler get in there.
Here was Prescott to Bauer. Good work on the near side. Great interplay here for the Bullpups. Prescott cuts it back. Plays it back to Bauer. Bauer tries to switch it. Well read by the Buhler defense. They clear it away. Now Buhler with a chance to potentially counter. They get it up there to Michaela Jarrett. Jarrett tries to switch the field. The only person there, though, is Herrera. She's actually going to come out of her penalty area to clear it away. Good ball there by Herrera. Brad, you were something of a goalkeeper mastermind, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I know that you know a lot about goalkeeping. Distribution is such an underrated part of a goalkeeper's repertoire.
Yeah, no matter who, and I work with some younger kids now, and they think goalkeeping is it's making a save and it's catching a ball. And we talk about how you have to be a utility, you have to be the full package. And a lot of times, at the higher levels you go, goalkeepers are using their feet, and they're that 11th offensive player. So if somebody can distribute like we just saw, it leads to McPherson running up the field. Now they're putting pressure on, and Buhler has to bring everybody back. And that's important throughout the game on legs.
Right now, there's a shot by Bauer, saved by Brooks. But right now, the Crusaders having a hard time getting out of their own end. Pretty much they kind of had it. McPherson had the early, had the upper hand early in the first 5-7 minutes. Buhler settled in, but since that goal, it's really kind of all been the Bullpups. Excuse me. Now here comes the Crusaders back the other way. Yoder tries to get inside or in past the defense. Ball's going to roll out of bounds, and a few fresh buys are going to come in now for the Crusaders.
And that's the best Buhler has looked, honestly, on that possession of moving up together. So they put some pressure on the back line of McPherson, and then the back 4 moved up as well. And so that made it hard for McPherson to find a pass out of the back, and now it's Buhler's ball as they are throwing it in on the far sideline.
So Quinn Liebels checked in for the first time. Another freshman. A quick throw in, and
there's that
opportunity here potentially as they were looking on the far side to Alyssa Berner. The Crusaders will maintain possession here. Anselmo tries to play it on the right side, but it's knocked out of bounds. Anselmo, foreign exchange student from Italy. Polk will throw it in. Gets it into Lael. Now on the near side here, looking for Berner. Can she catch up with it? And it's going to be knocked out of bounds, I think, for the first corner kick of the game here.
And great pressure again. When an opponent, a defensive player on the other team is facing their own goal, you do not want them to turn, and that's exactly what happened. But Buhler got to that ball first. She tried to go around the edge, and it was knocked out by McPherson for a dangerous corner.
Rank's got a few different plays they run on corner kicks. Left-footed swinger to the middle of the penalty area, misses everybody. It's going to be cleared out now by the Bullpups. That was Sambo who got to that. Cleared long, but the Crusaders maintain possession. That's going to go out of bounds, however, and going to go back as Coker was looking for a teammate on the far side there. It's one of those times where I know what Coker was thinking, play the ball, let her run onto it, but better off there maybe just playing to her feet instead.
Yep, playing simple. Simple, I think, when you talk about things, when you want to shift momentum, simple play is usually the best play.
McCool.
Yep,
good work. 1-on-2. McCool wins the battle 1-on-2. Here's some good interplay now for the Crusaders. Anselmo loses it. The last couple times Buhler's had, great work by Anselmo to win the ball back. Boy, that is something that you just can't teach. Just, hustle like that.
Yep. Great hustle. And we just saw a string of 4 great passing. Great possession. And we always talk about that last impact pass. And that was the one that's been kind of lacking early on for Buhler. But if they can continue to possess like that, they'll have options or they'll have opportunities.
Just having a hard time getting too much further into, they can get it down to about the 30, 25-yard line, but Buhler's really having a hard time getting it any closer than that. But since the goal, they have kind of steadied again. And again, their overall strategy does not change. It's 1-0. Plenty of time, still only in the 20th minute here. And boy, there's a hard foul there as Coker gets hit from behind there. No malintent there. I think the referee's going to have a quick word there with, I think that was Bauer who got Coker. Brad, I was also going to ask you, a lot of these girls are teammates in club with Mid-Kansas United or McPherson City or maybe even Club Missouri, or they probably have played together through the years. How does that play into a rivalry game when you're essentially playing against your friends in many or club teammates in a lot of cases?
Well, I think it makes the rivalry. When they talk about a healthy rivalry, I think there's rivalries of, I don't want to say hatred, that's a pretty strong word, but I think these are healthy rivalries because you want to beat that and have those bragging rights. At the same time, you respect who you're playing because you played with them for so long. So, and you know tendencies, which makes it better. That's why it's hard to score because you know strengths and weaknesses of the players you've been playing with.
A lot of times the rivalry is more for the fans than anything else.
Absolutely.
I just remember, we've been around the Buhler-Hutch rivalry several times as the Bullpups will substitute a couple players here. Shaft is going to come back into the game as well, Prescott. But my son's senior year at Buhler, he had a great game, denied a late penalty kick from David Reyna to win the game, 1-0. And I just remember talking to him after the game. He's like, yeah, I knew where David's going to go because they've been playing together and they knew each other. So it just provides a lot more kind of intricacies in a game like this. Just kind of adds to it. Adds to the chess match as
it sure does.
Prescott trying to wriggle her way through. Almost does. Plays it back to Shaft. Shaft tries to curl a ball into the post there, but it's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick.
Buhler's back line, and their 2 midfielders dropped in, and they really had a group of 6 that did a nice job of pressuring that shot and not allowing for any space for an open opportunity. You mentioned distribution. I think this is an example. It's not just when in the run of play when you get the ball. It's when the ball goes out of bounds. Can you pass and move up the field, which they just did a nice job of, and they're playing down that left side.
Jared almost got through. Now a potential opportunity, but McCool couldn't quite win it back there.
It's a nice job there. Coming back to the ball by number 12, a little off from McPherson.
Crusaders win it back. Ball goes on the far side. It's going to trickle out of bounds, and it's going to go back to the Bullpups. We're in the 23rd minute, 1-0 our score. McPherson with a 14th minute goal from Ellie Bauer after a good build up and a good finish from just outside the penalty area. The Bullpups have it. Coming down the left side, it's Addison Shaft. Ball's knocked out of bounds, and it's going to go back to the Crusaders. Got a whole host of Crusaders getting ready to check back in.
And I think Coach Rank, by design, I think that's taking time off the clock. I also think fresh legs when you're not possessing the ball as much is important. I do believe that Buhler has settled once again, as you mentioned. McPherson has put some pressure on, and Buhler kind of countered that. McPherson's put some pressure on. McPherson's got better opportunities, but Buhler's had a couple chances, and that might be how it is tonight. They're going to have to try to, again, I keep mentioning the word opportunistic, try to find that opportunity to score a goal and put more pressure on McPherson.
Now Shaft gets fouled as Anselmo just a little trip from behind, and so the Bullpups will have the ball some 40 yards from the goal. Coming over to take the set piece and talking with her coach, that is Audra Sandbo, the freshman. She can move that ball up a good 4 yards there.
And you want to be touch tight here. You see that there's distance between each of the girls right here. You really want to be touch so that you control them as Buhler. You control where they go as opposed to allowing McPherson open lanes to run into.
Low free kick, not cleared. Just under the foot there of Quinn Liebel. Now the Crusaders try to keep possession here in the far corner. Well done there in the corner by the Crusaders. But Liebel's going to get it back. That was Nevaeh Williams who had it for Buhler. Still McPherson's ball, however. There's an opportunity. Oh, great tackle there. But the Bullpups still have it in the box, and the ball's going to go out of bounds. I think it's going to be a goal kick as Brooks came out to deny Luloff, although Luloff didn't get a shot. I didn't see who had that great tackle there for the Crusaders just inside the penalty area.
Yeah, they really did a nice job breaking down and putting that pressure on. So because we saw another ball from the left side crossed into the middle, they did a great job of what we consider, when I say breaking down, keeping your kind of arms down and putting some pressure on that ball so it's not an open shot.
Kind of sitting in a low rider here, and the old man's got to stand up now.
It's hard to see numbers from up here, and it's hard to I'm trying to get names for you.
Bullpups will maintain the ball after the goal kick. Bowers got it. Oh, nice little pass from Bowers. Shot's blocked. Kept alive. Luloff still has it. There's a cross. Half cleared. Bullpups still have it. Play it back. It's Dale. Well, good patience here from the Bullpups. Not a lot of frustration. Defense getting the ball back as Lakin Yoder plays it long. And, oh, boy, I thought, still getting the ball back. Can Buhler do something here with it? Getting the ball back for Buhler. That's Natalia Krafels. Tries to play it up, but the ball is going to be taken back by the Bullpups.
That was difficult because McCool ran forward, but she had 3 defenders on her. So you'd like her to fake the run forward, check into space, and then have some players work off of her so that it moves the whole team up instead of trying to play that hopeful long ball.
It seems like whenever Buehler's got maybe a crack or maybe a window of an opportunity to possess or turn and do something with it, just feels like the whole pack of Bullpups are just closing them down.
Yep, I think Buehler's best offense, and we mentioned the long ball, but when they've gotten pressure on that back line and we've had that midfield unit come up and decrease that space between the attackers and the midfield, that's when they've been most successful. But you also, if you're playing defense a lot, you tend to naturally sit back a little bit.
27th minute now, 1-0 is our score. McPherson leads, 14th minute goal from Ellie Bauer. Join us at halftime. We'll have a halftime show here for you. Updates back at the studio. We'll recap the first half, get you set for the second half. Long ball played to looking for Michaela Jarrett there for Buhler. Now here comes Grace Prescott. Haven't seen much of her in the last several minutes after a great start from Prescott. Now she gets the ball back. Looking, she's going to turn. Oh, wicked turn there from Prescott. Oh, that was pretty. Still Prescott. She gets all the way into the goal box, into the byline, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds for a corner kick. What a turn and attack there from Grace Prescott. That'll be your Happy Egg Company Excellent Play of the Game. The Happy Egg Company Excellent Play of the Game. Visit happyeggfarms.com. Learn how you can help feed America. Just love a little bit of wizardry like that, Brad.
Yeah, Grace Prescott, if we had to pick the most valuable player at this point in time, would certainly be it. People are feeding her the ball, and she's open, but she's also creating opportunities creatively. Creating creatively. It doesn't sound great, but she is making things happen.
Corner kick, well read there by Brooks, and she's going to play a quick outlet. I really liked it. But the Bullpups win it back, and there you go again. Just when you think you may have something, just a whole pack of Bullpups. Into the penalty area, ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. It's going to be I can't tell if they call it a foul or a goal kick. 6 of one, half dozen of another. It's maybe about the same thing here.
And I think that, we got to give credit to Buhler's back line because they are holding up and they are, again, limiting space and time. When McPherson, who's had the ball, and we mentioned Buhler about the 30-yard line, that's really where their attacks have stopped. Well, McPherson's getting into that within 10 to 15 yards of the goal, and Buhler's withstood that pretty well.
Good touch there by Bauer. Plays in the middle of the park to Villalobos. Villalobos shoots. It's going to go out of bounds for another goal kick. And right now, kind of sense a danger time for Buhler as they're really having a hard time getting out of their own end. We're only in the 29th minute, still got almost 12 minutes until halftime. And if you're Buhler, if you can get this down to halftime 1-0, I think that's a decent first half, I think, for Buhler. If they can get this to 1-0, obviously tie or anything better than that is even better. But if this is 1-0 McPherson at halftime, I think if you're Buhler, you would take it right now.
Absolutely would. And I still think, Coach Rink watching this, I think he'll see open opportunities in the middle. Although McPherson's playing a diamond in the middle, there are open opportunities. I always think right around where you guys, the referees, are at. Referees are always in a great position because it's an open area. And I always think, can we get a player around where that referee's at in the middle, an official? And I think there's opportunities, but it's the next pass, the impact pass after that.
So right now, Crusaders have possession. There's a pass up, and it's going to be won back by the Bullpups. Natalia Krafels was looking now for Burner. Now the other way, Prescott has it. Plays it back in the middle of the park to Villalobos. Good stuff there. Good work there by Lakin Yoder trying to win the ball back, and I think she has won the ball back. And, yes, it's going to be a throw-in here for the Crusaders. Some good work here by the Crusaders. And they're just trying to hang in there, withstand the pressure. It was just a nice goal that McPherson scored. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap, as hard as that might be.
Yeah, if they're scoring for 22 out and they knock it in, you're right. You just got to tip your cap and move on to the next possession.
A foul in the middle of the park there as Taylor Krafels was tripped up.
And you'll see right now, if you're watching at home, you'll see there's a line of about seven packed in McPherson players, and there's 4 for Buhler. And so those numbers aren't typically very good, and usually there's a turnover, which we're seeing here.
And it's going to be Prescott who won the ball back. Villalobos plays on the left side to to Prescott. Luloff was coming back for it. Bauer just a little bit out of her reach there. Bauer was going right. The ball was going to her left. But well done there by McPherson's Audrey Sambo to win the ball back.
Yep.
That's kind of a rare bad pass here in the first half. The Bullpups, they haven't sent the ball long very often.
Nope, they haven't. Coach Adrian talked about we want to go up, back, and through, or we want to get the ball out wide both sides. They haven't really gone to the right side. I do think that would be open opportunity for him or an opportunity for him to mention that to the girls in the second half. Because I think it'll further space McPherson out.
What a ball by Villalobos. There's a shot. What a great save. As a shot was taken there by Rebecca Luloff. But what a save there from Sammy Brooks, the talented senior goalkeeper, all-state goalkeeper for the Buhler Crusaders to keep this game 1-0. But what a pass by Olivia Villalobos there.
And you've seen this with your own son, but she did a nice job coming out and really taking away an angle. So when you decrease the angle, it's harder for the shooter to make it, and so that helped her get the opportunity. Otherwise, I think had she been on the line, that might have been a goal.
Well, how often have we've been around soccer long enough, Brad, where a great chance, a great save like that happens, and the next thing you know, the ball's in the goal at the other end of the field.
Right. Those things can be momentum builders for sure. When you get energy and you make a great save, and you talk about 1-0 at half for Buhler, that might be great. Absolutely. Or they come back in the last 5 minutes and they create something, and then they have that positive momentum and great energy.
As Prescott plays in the middle of the park. This is Kenna Dale. Plays on the right side. Looking to attack. Shaft. Good defense on the far side by Buhler's Taylor Krafels. Krafels, did she keep it in? No. Ball goes out of bounds. Didn't really see a signal. There's a signal from the assistant referee on the far side.
And that's really the first time since we mentioned that McPherson switched from the left to the right side. But I think that can help open up the middle later. If they go down the left and they go down the right, you start spreading the defense out, and then you have the middle open as well. You talk about that chess match.
Ball's knocked into the middle. Brooks reads it well. Now, just thinking that McPherson doesn't have the flip throw this year. There's many times where they've got a couple girls who can do that wicked flip throw.
And that's hard when that ball's bouncing in the box because a lot of the people don't go up strong for a header, and so you get balls bouncing, and then you never know what can happen. It's a great diagonal ball, put pressure on.
Great diagonal ball there.
And then you watch Buhler. We want them to get up and pressure as a group, and they look. We have somebody kind of hobbling down on this right side. Is that McCool?
Yeah, referee's actually going to stop the game. The good thing is now with Keisha or NFHS, you can stop the game without taking the player out. That is Maddie McCool, who, again, missed a couple games with a knee injury. And this break in the action is brought to you by Pyle Law. If you've been injured at work or in a motor vehicle accident, Tom works to get the benefits you deserve. Contact Pyle Law at 620-241-9000. So McCool still limping a little bit there in the middle of the park, but I think she's okay. Throwing goes to Shank. Ball's deflected out of bounds, going to go back to the Bullpups. We're now in the 34th minute. 1-0. McPherson has the lead. Brad Hallier and Brad Binns bringing all the action. Thanks for joining us here. Whether you're just listening or watching the game, not a lot of high school soccer coverage throughout the state, at least on like streams or broadcasts like this. So we're glad to bring it to you tonight.
And they deserve it. The girls get out there and they work hard every day, and so it's nice to bring some support as
Prescott. Goodness, she's just a menace. Now, she hasn't scored. She didn't get the assist, but boy, she has been nothing short of a pain for that Buhler defense on the left side.
Yeah, if nothing else, she's bringing the whole team up for McPherson and dropping the whole Buhler team back, and so it's making it much more difficult to mount an offense from the lens of the Crusaders.
Well, Dale looking for the switch, kicked it out of bounds, but I do like the idea there from Dale to switch the ball. That's probably a pass she hits 9 times out of 10. Just got away from her there. A good ball movement here and control from the McPherson Bullpups. Sandbo's got it. Now on the left side, this is Diaz-Che. Trying to get away. She can't quite. It goes out of bounds. It's going to go back, I think, to the Bullpups, yes.
And ideally, that's what it should look like when you have a diamond in the middle. You have four players in a tight diamond. You get that outside back, that number 24, Ruth Diaz, that she's moving up the field to provide some support on the outside.
You know, the 4-4-2 is kind of it's kind of gone away. It's from the dinosaur era. But, we used to play that a lot, especially in college. And as the Bullpups try to get into the box now, it's cleared away. But Brad, what does the diamond midfield do for McPherson? Like, why is that a good thing for McPherson?
Yeah, I think it gives them the ability to get width, and you dominate the midfield. When you have 3 players like Olivia, Grace, and Kenna, who Coach Adrian says are dynamic players, you're trying to control the midfield. When you can, this as well as anybody. When you control the midfield, you're going to often control the game, and so that midfield area. And then if you get your outside backs up, you're often playing a 9-on-6. As another team might bring 6 defenders back. And when we talk about a numbers game, 9 players is often going to be able to beat 6 players. And so
I'm not a mathematician. I'll take your word for it. But, yeah, it's the diamond defense and the diamond midfield used to be the rage in soccer. There's a good ball played on the far side for Buhler. This is Lakin Yoder trying to run it down. She's going to get to it. Not a lot of numbers up in the penalty area. There's a cross. Oh, boy, I thought that was going to get through there to Alyssa Berner. But now we're seeing like the 4-3-3 is kind of the rage in soccer these days, or a 4-5-1.
Right.
There's all kinds of hybrids that you can do out there, but the old-fashioned 4-4-2 is starting to make a little bit of a comeback, Brad.
Right, and what's interesting is we just talk about fluidity, positionless soccer, right? And so you want position, and you really want positions when you're defending. Offensively, you want to move to appropriate space, but then you need to be able to get organized. So that's what we're seeing here. So really, there's not a whole lot of difference if you look at between a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the middle and a 4-3-3. There's just a few players moving inside the numbers, maybe a little bit more. But Coach Adrian said they've played several formations this year, and you can tell that he kind of bases it on the game and opponent.
Here come the Crusaders looking to attack, but good recovery there by McPherson's Kenna Dale to win the ball back. McCool wins it here for Buhler. She's got some space to attack. Plays it on the far side. Looking to attack. There's a cross blocked. Berner, but it's going to go out of bounds and going to stay with Buhler. Here in the 37th minute, chance for the Crusaders. You're going to sub a few players in here to slow the game down, see if they can get a couple balls into the box here.
I always think, we talk about time and space. And in high school, I think you feel like you're under pressure constantly, but there's often a lot of time and space available. Maddie McCool did a great job there of reading the play, taking the ball up, and making a nice weighted pass out wide. She wasn't hurried. You always talk about being efficient and not hurrying in the game so that you can create an opportunity. She did well there.
Schenk gets the throw in, plays it over to Anselmo, but she couldn't get very much on her shot. It's going to go right to Herrera.
Yeah, that would have been. I think that was hurried. That opportunity there was hurried. But that's the difference between the McCool and that play. And if Buhler or Coach Rankel say, "Hey, calm down when you're near the box. We're okay." I think they'll calm down and have a couple better opportunities in the second half.
Prescott looks for Bauer. Bauer tried a little flick there into space to Luloff. Now here come the Crusaders. There's a good long ball looking on the near side here to Crayfoles. Knocked away, and it's going to be a throw-in again here for the Crusaders, now in the 39th minute. So the game's kind of tilted a little bit here in the last couple of minutes back to Buhler. They haven't been on the front foot as often here in the first half as I'm sure they'd like, but they're on it right now. See if they can maybe steal an opportunity. Ooh, boy, that was close to a handball. I don't think it did, but, boy, that was dangerous there. Almost a handball. Now an opportunity. Shot from distance is saved by Herrera.
Buehler's looking better there, a little more attacking. Again, when they can get numbers up, and that's usually with possession in the middle, they're going to have opportunities. They just haven't been able to possess in the middle very well as of yet.
It's Taylor Crayfoles who had that shot from distance. Second save of the game for Ellie Herrera. Now here come the Bullpups. Winning the ball back there via Lobos, back to Prescott. Prescott dancing in the midfield, cuts it back.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Here's that diamond that we're seeing. You ask kind of where we're at. Now you have 4. You can see that diamond really well there. And it's hard because Buehler's trying to match them up, but they're never right in the position to be effective yet defending because they're using their outside backs and their center backs to possess. McPherson is.
Down to the last 35 seconds here in the first half.
Yep.
Long ball, and it's kind of that time of the game. And this is something I really wish we would change in high school soccer where the referees can keep time. I think we'd see a lot less boot ball in the last couple minutes. Prescott, plenty of time, 20 seconds. Plays it over to Villalobos. Villalobos back to Prescott. Some 30 yards from the goal. Prescott getting into the penalty area. Good pass to Bauer. Bauer with a shot blocked. Oh, great defense there. Ashlyn Coker knocked it away. Down to the final couple seconds, and we have reached halftime, and the McPherson Bullpups lead the Buhler Crusaders 1-0. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with your halftime show. So we got a lot more coming up here, so stick around. From the Midway Motors broadcast booth, you're listening to high school soccer coverage on Astra Radio.
Headquartered in Mound Ridge is a family-owned custom equipment builder, and they're hiring qualified candidates for manufacturing roles. Apply online at BradburyGroup.com. The Bradbury Company, wishing the best of luck to all the teams.
For more than 90 years, Hutchinson Community College has been the premier 2-year educational institution in Kansas, offering the highest quality education at an exceptional value. Schedule a personal campus tour today. Visit hutchcc.edu/campus tour.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Keniston with McPherson Dental Care. McPherson Dental Care has many options for your orthodontic journey. We do braces and we also do Invisalign. For example, Invisalign, which is a way to move your teeth more gentle, much more quicker. It's clear and removable, and it gradually straightens your teeth with no brackets, wires, and it's faster and more comfortable than braces.
McPherson Dental in Buhler, Inman, Hillsborough, McPherson, and Lyons, providing healthy smiles with a gentle touch. Water's Edge Restaurant and Catering has your cravings covered morning, noon, and Thursday nights. In Heston, open Tuesday through Sunday. Join them for an all-day breakfast, classic comfort food favorites, or daily lunch specials featuring a wide and unique variety. Thursday nights come in for theme nights like the famous fried chicken, waffles, burgers, Mexican or Italian, and ask about catering options. Find them online at watersedgeheston.com for menu and catering options.
Save time and simplify your life. I Need a Cleaners will take the hassle out of your days and can do the work so you can look and feel your professional self every day. Our expert dry cleaning services, executive shirt service, and professional starching and pressing ensure your garments stay fresh, fitted, and ready to face your days in style. I Need a Cleaners will keep your wardrobe looking spotless and feeling perfect. I Need a Cleaners, it's where to take your clothes.
At AstraRadio.com.
Welcome back to McPherson High School. Brad Hallier and Brad Benz bringing you all the action from this high school girls soccer game at halftime. It is McPherson leading the Buhler Crusaders 1-0. And, you know, Brad, they're honoring, or they got some of the youth teams coming out here from Mid-Kansas United or McPherson City. I'm not sure which club. I think it's McPherson City that they're got some youth clubs out here. Chris Adrian out there joining the fun. Aaron O'Connor out also from McPherson. And, boy, I tell you, that's one thing that McPherson does so well is they develop these youth kids, all the kids to, essentially dream of playing for the high school one day.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about beforehand. When you ask, why's Buhler and McPherson, why are they in it every year? This is an example of why they're in it, and they make everything a spectacle and an event, and that's what's nice about doing the radio. And we did basketball as well as now soccer tonight. There's always something going on to celebrate within the community, and that's what brings groups of kids together. And we're looking at all these athletes, and we have 50 of them out here, and they're watching McPherson play a great game and be leading 1-0, and they want to be there someday. So that definitely is part of building the program, and you got a lot of caring, dedicated adults out there helping that happen.
And I know Rank is starting a club himself, Crusader FC, and I know that I think he had a couple teams last year, but I know that he is now kind of going all in with a full-fledged youth club. We're going to take another break here, and we'll come back with more of our halftime show, and we'll recap the first half and get a lot more, get maybe some scores from around the area and other sports and all that. So stick around. We got more to come up here from the Midway Motors broadcast booth. You're listening to high school soccer coverage on Astra Radio.
From Farmers Alliance and proud mom of Bullpup number 58. After living in several different places prior to settling in McPherson, our family truly appreciates the feeling of community we found here. Being a part of Farmers Alliance crew also fills me with pride as we root for our local community, students, and coaches, both in the game and beyond. While you hustle for that victory, we're on the sideline safeguarding our customers. At Farmers Alliance, we're thrilled to be a part of this fantastic community, and we can't wait to cheer on all our local teams to success.
Hey guys, how's practice going?
Papa, I can't hit the ball over the fence yet.
Well, Easton, that fence is 300 feet away and you're only 4 years old.
Papa, how long before we can hit the ball over the fence?
Boys, it's not always about home runs, it's about teamwork and always getting better. Ray Riffing's been around for 83 years and we still believe in teamwork and working hard.
So, Papa, it's gonna take 83 more years until we're good?
No, Brogan, you'll be good long before that. Just keep working hard. Most of all, have fun.
Let's go hit some baseballs and get some ice cream.
Okay, boys, let's go.
Riff the right way, the Ray way.
When recovering from a hospital stay, being in the comfort of your home is important to heal. The compassionate home care team of nurses, therapists, social workers, and home health aides from Hospice and Home Care of Reno County can help you achieve that goal. We are your friends and neighbors, caring about our community and the people who live here. Hospice and Home Care of Reno County, your local not-for-profit agency serving a 50-mile radius of Hutchinson. We care how you live.
Your home is more than just a place. It's where your life happens. The Redinger Agency across from Bogies and Hutch understands. Go to RedingerAgency.com and get your quote today at the Redinger Agency in Hutchinson. One stop for all your insurance needs.
Is saying I do in your future? Holly here with Holly Sweet Treats, and it would be my honor to bring your dream wedding cake to life. Call 888-YUM for a consultation today or stop by 205 South Main in Hutchinson. Holly Sweet Treats. Stay on the sweet side.
At AstraRadio.com.
Welcome back to McPherson High School. Brad Hallier and Brad Binns bring you all the action from this AVCTL Division III girls soccer game. At halftime, it's McPherson leading Buhler 1-0 here on at AstraRadio.com. Thanks for joining us, whether you're just listening or watching on the stream. They're having some fun right now with some kids out there playing some soccer at halftime. Got some portable goals set up. Heck, maybe 10 years ago I may get out there, but if I get out there right now, I'd probably pull a couple of muscles. And I got a referee on Thursday where I guess I could pull something there as well. I've been known to do that from time to time. Actually, I did. Brandon Johnson, one of the club coaches here in McPherson, I was actually reffing one of his games once. And about 10 minutes left, I pulled my hamstring. And, boy, everyone was having a grand old time laughing at that one. I was just kind of whining there, feeling sorry for myself. But anyway, it's pretty cool deal seeing all this action going on. It's 1-0 Buhler. It was an Ellie Bauer 14th-minute goal from an Olivia Villalobos assist of unofficial shots, 6-2 in favor of McPherson. Shots on goal a lot closer to a 3-2. And Sammy Brooks for Buhler with 2 saves apiece, 3 fouls for McPherson, 1 against Buhler. We owe you another 2-minute break, so we're going to go ahead and take that now. Come back with more of our halftime report, and we'll get you set for the second half when we come back. From the Midway Motors broadcast booth, you're listening to high school soccer coverage on at Astra Radio.
Where the pizza never ends. Come fuel up, raise up a cup.
Gather up your grub at the hub.
Hey, it's Sammy, inviting y'all to join us in Mound Ridge. We have the station, coffee and bakery for all your ice cream, lotus, and coffee fixes. Enjoy one of our world-famous brick oven pizzas while sharing an appetizer. We are your one-stop shop for your friends and family to gather. Get your grub at the hub.
Hey Hutchinson, join us Saturday, June 7th at Friendly Bingo on First and Washington for the Allen Samuels Bingo Express, brought to you by Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. From 1:15 to 2:15, play 15 bingo games with 2 chances to win a golden ticket for your shot at a brand new Jeep Compass. Only $20 for the Bingo Express pack. All proceeds benefit Bright House. Allen Samuels Bingo Express on June 7th. And as Mr. Samuels always said,
come by, let's be friends.
Hi, I'm Carly Sutton with First Bank Kansas. Are you ready to transform your home and life? Unlock the potential of your home with a home equity line of credit from your trusted partners at First Bank Kansas. Whether it's renovating your space, planning the vacation of a lifetime, or simply freeing up your budget, our flexible options empower you to make it happen. Your dreams, your way. Contact us today and discover the possibilities. First Bank Kansas, your key to unlocking a world of possibilities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Although many popular pet medications are available at retail chain stores, online pharmacies, and drugstores, one thing you can't guarantee is the quality of products and the quality of care. At Apple Lane Animal Hospital in Hutchinson, your pet's health and well-being is our primary goal. Any medicine prescribed and purchased at our office comes with the comfort of knowing that you and your pet are individuals with distinct needs that can best be served by our veterinarians and staff. Call Apple Lane Animal Hospital at 662-0515 to set up an appointment.
At AstraRadio.com.
Yeah, welcome back to McPherson High School. Brad Hallier and Brad Benz bringing you all the action from this AVCTL Division III girls soccer game. At halftime, it's McPherson leading Buhler 1-0. Thanks for listening to our halftime show. Getting ready to start the second half, and well, all that chaos is ended. I was kind of enjoying watching all that chaos, Brad. All those kids out there playing. That's some of the most fun you can have with soccer, is just throwing the ball out there and let the kids play.
Yeah, sometimes we forget. Again, it's meant to be fun, and so it's nice to see what the kids just have joy out there and get to perform on a big field in front of a really good crowd tonight.
Yeah, definitely never lacks for a crowd when a Buhler takes on McPherson, or if one of these schools plays Hutch. Kind of sad we don't really see McPherson and Hutch anymore. I understand it, though. It's kind of hard to get those interdivision matchups sometimes going, especially when Division III and Division I both want to play Division II, it seems like. And, of course, in AVCTL, there is no Division IV. They combine Division III and IV together in soccer. I shouldn't say there is no Division IV. There's no Division IV in soccer. I think for girls, all you really have are El Dorado and Mulvane, or Rose Hill. Only a couple of schools in Division IV have soccer, at least on the girls' side. El Dorado doesn't have girls. They have boys, but so they just kind of combine it. So that's even more league games for McPherson and Buhler to get.
Yeah, it was we really appreciated playing McPherson in everything when we played them in basketball as well as soccer, even at times in baseball. It's just when you're 25 minutes down the road, there adds flavor to that game every year.
So McPherson will kick off to start the second half. They're now attacking the south goal. They'll be attacking toward the high school itself. Brooks has the ball. After the kickoff, she collected it, and a long punt, and it's going to be collected by the Bullpups. Now these players that were on the far side are on the near side this half, so now we'll be able to see much more of Addison Shaft. Good work here by Buhler's Michaela Jarrett trying to win the ball back. She's kind of looking for some help right now. Shaft tries to play it into the corner, and that's going to be taken away by McCool. Looking for Jarrett. It's going to be overhit.
Yeah, there's that pass that I wish she'd take a few touches, and then somebody that would check back or stay in space in that middle. They could just play to feet as opposed to giving that ball right back to McPherson and having to defend again. They're just playing a little too quick when they get an opportunity, almost like, we got to go kind of mentality. And they just need to be patient, as you mentioned, prior really to the start of the game.
Yeah, and there'll come a time if this game stays 1-0 where Buhler's going to have to obviously press the issue, but we're good 30, 35 minutes away from that happening. So here come the Bullpups. Villalobos in the middle of the park. Switches it to the far side looking for Prescott. She plays it across the mouth of the goal, but well read there by Sammy Brooks.
And
Boy.
that's not an easy one. That's a little easier than that cutback, but Sammy did a nice job of stepping into that ball, and now she's giving it a right. Here's the bounce over the head that you mentioned earlier several times that they would potentially run through and have numbers up.
Another good outlet there for Sammy Brooks. The best goalkeepers, when they punt the ball, it's just not a random punt, and you can see that with Brooks. There's a purpose. She sees where that ball is going. She knows where she wants to put it. As now the Bullpups looking to attack. This is Shaft trying to keep it in. She does, but a foul's going to be called.
It looked like she extended that arm just a little bit when she went in, and I look at the players with the setup of the benches, and I always liked having the defenders closer to me. So I think we might see that as number 7 takes off for Buhler here.
Yeah, Michaela Jarrett making a nice run down the left side here. Still going. Still going. See if she can get a corner out of this, and she does. Well done there by Michaela Jarrett. Nice effort to win the corner kick, and now Buhler can send some numbers forward, take their time a little bit.
Yeah, and when we think of women's soccer in general, just watching women's soccer, those balls in, it looks like they're calling it.
Oh, it's a goal kick?
A goal kick. It
Okay.
did from up here in our vantage point. It did not look like it was. It looked like it was a corner kick, so it must have bounced off of her.
Well, even McPherson was kind of getting ready for a corner kick there, but only one man's opinion counts. That's the center referee. Goal kick plays the Shaft, but it's won back by Taylor Crafels. Looking for Michaela Jarrett, but the ball's won back. Now Jarrett trying to get it, but once again, Bullpups able to mop that up there.
Buehler's in better position here. They're up around the ball. They have defensive numbers around the ball, and although it didn't work out for them there, they'll get opportunities again if they continue to do that.
There's a potential danger here as the Bullpups look into a counter. Bauer plays the ball into the corner. Looking for Prescott. Prescott with the cross shot blocked. Kept alive, though, by the Bullpups, and there's a shot that's going to sail out of bounds. That's going to be a goal kick.
Prescott has now she's moved centrally. If you know, she started on the left. Now she's number 7 has moved to a central position, kind of an attacking mid position for McPherson, and she made that diagonal run to the right side. But she's bringing defenders with her because she has such great speed, and that's opening up avenues for the other players on the McPherson Bullpups team.
There's Crafels looking for the long ball. That now. Sometimes there's just playing it long, and sometimes there's a purpose. That ball was there. If she had hit that just a little bit harder, they may have been able to get Crafels in there.
Now, she was bypassing the line. She did have number 7 again open in the middle. I still would like her to play feet because it allows the other teammates to come up and move as opposed to 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 with a goalkeeper trying to get in the foot race.
There's the check back you like seeing as
Yep.
Bauer comes back to get it. Bauer loses it. Good stuff there from Maddie McCool. McCool's got some space here.
And they're all running forward as opposed to somebody checking back. I know I keep saying that.
Yeah.
You're going to hear a broken record, but that's as you have the defensive line dropping, somebody just needs to sit in that space, and then they'll be able to turn and go at that defensive line that's dropping.
It's almost like that the defense is just enticing you to try to play that ball, and or trying to entice the forwards to run with them. Hey, we're running back. You run with us.
Right. This is the time to be contrary.
Bauer has it near midfield. Now she's going to turn. Plays it on the near side. This is Addison Shaft. Some interplay with Luloff, but it's going to go out of bounds and a throw-in.
And for McPherson, as an example, Coach Adrian will want the girl who received that ball in the middle to play the opposite side. She tried to play kind of a 1-2, a give and go, but really they had a 2-on-1 defender on the opposite side. It's just hard to see. Easier from our vantage point. Again, it's always easy when you're not in it in the press box.
That's why they have the coaches in football sit up here, because they can see everything from down low. Shaft gets the ball back. Bauer shielding out well. Well, good stuff there by Bauer. Plays it back to Broadus. Broadus switches it. Looking for, that was Prescott, but lost it there. Villalobos gets it back. Villalobos plays it to Luloff. Looking for Bauer. She's going to be able to catch up to this. Bauer with a service opportunity into the side netting. So a goal kick for the Crusaders. And with our slate of postseason games coming across many different sports here, and you can stream all of our games, including today's game, on your phone with the Astra Radio app, powered by Next Tech Wireless. Shop the latest phones and devices at the best prices. Join us after the game for our locker room show. We'll have our People's Bank and Trust Player of the Game, Bauer. She'll be one of the contenders for that. Good ball by Bauer into Luoff. Shots blocked, and that was good closing defense from Nevaeh Williams, as Brooks gets it and sends it out. Ball's going to bounce over the head of Michaela Jarrett.
And we would have a goalkeeper putt the ball 50 times, and we would mark where it landed each time when the conditions, there wasn't wind, and then when there was significant wind, and so we would have players line up there. I'm sure they do that. It's just kind of a recognition of where that ball is going to land to get opportunities.
And McCool has it. Some space to go if she wants to take it. Plays it on the left side, looking for Jarrett. Jarrett crosses. Good ball there. Herrera gets her hand on it, and an opportunity just is going to go wide.
It was a great effort. They got the ball from the middle. They played it wide. A great cross in. They had runners in the box. That's exactly how you draw it up, and why soccer's so fun. It takes one moment at a time.
Almost finishing that was Alyssa Berner, the senior, but good interplay there from McCool, and that was one of the times where the Forge didn't run away from McCool.
Yeah, and they had layers again. Buhler had layers, so they weren't all in one straight line, so that they could get to that ball running in. And that was a great. That's why soccer is a game of kind of an equalizing game. Somebody can outpossess you, but you can get one opportunity and score a goal. That's why that 1-0 right now is so important for Buhler.
Well, did you see over the weekend that Sporting Kansas City made MLS history, Brad?
Tell me more.
We'll get to that here in just a second. As looking for Jarrett. Ball's played a little bit too far. She will be able to catch up with it, however. Jarrett's been something of a menace herself here in the second half. I guess you have to wear number 7 to be a menace on this field.
And it's been on that left side both times.
Yeah, both times. McCool's going to try to send it into the box, but it's going to go right into the hands of Elia Herrera. So Sporting Kansas City on Sunday became the first team in MLS history to win a game without registering a single shot. There's like a 12th minute own goal from the LA Galaxy, and Sporting didn't register a single shot and won the game.
Wow.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not. Hey, you got the win. That's all that matters. Yeah. Oh, what a ball here. Prescott. Looking for Luoff, and the ball is knocked away. And the Central defense really has been pretty good in this game for the Buhler Crusaders.
They have, and that's why in the playoffs, when it comes to playoff time, that's going to be a hard line to beat. And so it will always give them an opportunity.
Shot from distance. Oh, just over the goal. That shot from Olivia Villalobos had some wicked dip on it.
But when you have a goalkeeper like Sammy Brooks, it's always interesting from the sideline when you hear the crowd, But when you have somebody like Sammy Brooks, you're not too concerned about a 35-yard shot out. But that was still a decent effort from deep.
Yeah, maybe about a yard of space in between the football crossbar and the soccer crossbar, and they just somehow got in between those two. Bullpups have it.
A good read here.
Yes, excellent defense there. That was Taylor Crafels who read. Now she's going to start the attack herself, still dribbling. Take it on, Taylor.
Yep.
Plays it into space. Trying to catch up with it is Alyssa Berner. Still on the far side. Berner gets to it, and it's out of bounds. It's going to be a Buhler throw-in.
It turned out to be a decent play, but you and I saw the same thing. We wanted to take the space and really attack centrally where we had some width, and then we had depth up top, and so just gave up that ball a little early, but Buhler has possession here.
Now here's the potential danger as a counterattack the other way as Bauer has it.
And that's what we're talking about with Buhler being in that space where they can possess a little bit, which McPherson just dropped into that gap, and it allows them to move forward and possess.
Yeah, what a mature play there by Bauer. Just held it up, knew she had nothing up there. And now looking to attack is Allison Randa. Plays it back. Little Lobos.
And here's that's attacking mid, playing it back to an outside back who's playing it to a holding mid out here, who's playing it out wide to kind of your diamond outside mid. It's just
this is a great build-up, Brad. Prescott plays it across, and again it's mopped up. That was probably the best build-up we've seen for either team in this game there.
And you mentioned earlier, why is that diamond so important in the middle? That's the example of it. They played width to an outside defender, and then they used their midfield to switch the point of attack. And then to be fair, Buhler's, again, defensive line, the two center backs are playing a great game.
Yeah, they really are. And again, the goal really wasn't a defensive breakdown. It was just a nice goal from the Bullpups. We're now in the 52nd minute, still 1-0. McPherson has the lead, but you can kind of sense again that, Buhler sensing some opportunities. Michaela Jarrett's had a good second half here, and speaking of Jarrett, she just commits a foul there. Knocked Allison Randa down, another freshman.
Yeah, Michaela Jarrett has some speed that can match up with some of that speed from
Yes.
McPherson, so that's really helped them in the second half. And you really want to start playing her and see if she can isolate a defender on that side, but you also want to play through that middle. If they get the midfield involved, get McCool with the ball, play off of McCool, get her into some space to make some or create some opportunities.
Now the Bullpups have it. Plays across looking for Randa, but well read and looking to start the counterattack was Taylor Crafels, but she loses it, and Villalobos has it back, excuse me. And another turf monster moment there, but Prescott, it was just part of her charm there to pretend like the turf monster got her. Prescott crosses, decent ball. There's a shot, blocked, kept alive. That was Allison Randa again. There's a cross, and it's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick.
And one thing I've been noticing, just watching body language. You always just want to watch body language on the field to see how people are reacting. Number 7, Michaela Jarrett, who we've mentioned several times. I just saw her encouraging her teammates, along with number 8, Nicole Anselmo. And I appreciate that because you can tell that they're spirited and they're still in it, and they believe they have great opportunities coming. And so that's leadership from a captain, number 7, and obviously a senior who's been around many games and played in many tough environments.
Well, and they've had the best chance here in the second half, Brad. The Buhler Crusaders have. They've had the best chance here in the second half, and frankly, right now, it's kind of a stalemate right now. But right now, Buhler looks the more likely team to score at the moment. Now that could obviously change at any given moment, but of the two teams out there right now, the team that looks more likely at the moment is Buhler.
And here's a better defensive buildup for Buhler. They're getting numbers around the ball.
They're starting to pressure a little bit more.
They are, absolutely. And so that you see a turnover, and that happens often. And you preach this all the time. If we get numbers around the ball, it's going to lead to a turnover and good things. And here Buhler is pressuring again and should win this possession.
Ball's played long, cleared away by Coker, but that's going to be a throw-in.
I'm really curious from a standpoint of an official. Do you feel momentum at the time? Do you get a sense in how does that affect what you're doing out there as the game or momentum shifts?
Ball's cleared out, but it's going to go back to the Bullpups. We're in the 55th minute. A couple fresh bodies coming in here for the Bullpups. So we got any updates on our scoreboard here, and I know that it looks like the Trinity Catholic baseball teams are playing today, and Trinity wins over El Saline 9-6. See if I can get an update on the Hutch High soccer game. I can't remember who Hutch is playing today. Let's see what we can find. I know one of the assistants at Butler is currently there, Junior Galvan.
First, I'm playing the ball back and then out wide, and they play it to the middle, and then they're just kind of recycling the ball back to a center back, and she's looking to create opportunities. It was a great job by Maddie McCool, and then played into a space, but there was nobody there. We'd like Maddie McCool to just be patient with that ball again, because she's got a great skill. Be patient, either make a move forward with the dribble or play to feet.
Yeah, in that situation, it had been about 2-on-4, but still, McCool's good enough to be able to break people down 1v1, as Taylor Crafels has it. Looks to play in the corner, but check it back to the ball was Lakin Yoder, but the ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be Buhler ball.
And you feel a sense, and you've mentioned this many times, and up here both of us can feel that the Buhler is having really some success right now, and they are building some opportunities. Because we haven't seen them sitting there. They've been within that 20-yard range several times, and they've been much more compact on the defensive end.
Well, the Salthawks are playing Mays, and it's 0-0 at half, so tough schedule, tough stretch for the Salthawks.
Yes, it is.
But a good performance so far. I ref Mays last week, a very good team in Class 6A. It's Ashlyn Coker looking for Michaela Jarrett. Jarrett trying to win it back. Down the right side, looking to attack is Reagan Broadus. Still Broad, still going. Ooh, they called the foul. You know what? I don't mind the foul there. I think sometimes we conflict possession with advantage there. I think you could have given advantage there, but at the same time, bring it back, get a free service here.
Yep, I agree with you. I think kind of head and hips turn to the outside line there. You're not getting much of an advantage at that point in time.
It would have been a tough cross to play there. So Broadus draws the foul. She's going to take the free kick herself, tries to lob it into the box, and Sammy Brooks she saw that before it was kicked.
And great, you can just tell she's owning that box and communicating because everybody else moved out of her way. Both McPherson and Buhler players as Maddie McCool.
A chance for McCool, and I like to see a yellow card here for stopping a promising attack. Let's see if we get a yellow card here. And I think we are, as McCool was 1-on-2, and we are going to see a yellow card against McPherson.
And the unsung hero there is Sammy Brooks, who saw McCool up top, and immediately you talked again. You hit the nail on the head when you said distribution from a goalkeeper. She got the ball quick, already knew what she was going to do, anticipated it, and really created this opportunity. You'd like to see, this is a time you'd like to see Buhler get several players up instead of just having a shot from deep and being hopeful. Can you get people in the box? Because in the women's game, there's not a lot of female athletes willing to go up and get a strong header. And so you see a lot of balls knocked down. You just want to get some body part on it with momentum or with some energy going toward the goal.
Maybe even test that freshman goalkeeper here as the yellow card goes against Audra Sandbo, which is actually a pretty good foul, I think. And I think that's what the referee, which is another thing I don't like about NFHS, is requiring the explanation. Not saying the coaches don't deserve one, but that was a textbook SPA, stopping a promising attack. I know you can make the argument that was 1-on-3, but McCool did beat her first defender there. And I think that is absolutely the right call for a yellow card there.
Yep, and it really does. In this sense, this explanation gives Buhler an advantage to get up and get organized. I'd say more so this benefits not only the kick, but also benefits Buhler to be able to organize themselves again for a promising attack.
Well, McCool some 30 yards from the goal. And you like to see the old crossbar challenge here. Just aim for the crossbar and hope for the best here.
And I even think about just putting it in on the E of McPherson, where we have some runners in. The problem is we have two Buhler girls, and they're wide of the post right now. And so you hope that they run in centrally to that E, but you'd really like to just create some havoc in there.
Keep it on. Taylor Crafels wide open on the left side here for a potential rebound. McCool's going to line it up. McCool has a rip. Decent shot right at Herrera, though. Just didn't quite get enough height on that to really challenge Herrera.
Really difficult opportunity, and that's why you want runners in the box, but got it to where it needed to go, and it could have bounced off the goalkeeper, and they could have gotten an opportunity.
Well, Bullpups looking to counter, but well read there by the Buhler defense. And right now, Buhler's been probably here in the first 18 minutes of the second half, around the 58th minute. They've been the better team here in the second half. The chances haven't been many, but they have had the best chance. They just had another good chance there.
Yeah, I mean, first when they stop playing, the possession soccer, that's when you start to see that Buhler's playing a little bit more aggressive defensively. As I say that, they do a nice job moving the ball here.
Far side, it's going to be a throw-in. Actually, it's a hit off of the Bullpups last. Buhler's done a pretty good job of limiting also Grace Prescott's supply here in the second half. We really haven't called her name. She was just all over the field in the first half. And there's another foul going to be called against the Bullpups. 6th foul of the game against McPherson, 3 against Buhler. Just the 1 yellow card. And you know what? I think, I don't know how much credit you can just say that, hey, Buhler just kind of raise their level in the second. I think Rank has made some. I think he's made some adjustments, moving McCool up. Mm-hmm. I think they're starting to press a little bit more. Pressure the defense. I think we got to give Rank some credit here to making some adjustments here.
Yep, and I think they've gotten tighter in the midfield. Their midfield's kind of combated McPherson's midfield, and so they've had more pressure in the middle than to be able to just really do whatever they wanted in the first half with the ball. So McPherson has less time and space, and when they have less time and space, and with that pressure, it creates more turnovers and more opportunities for the Crusaders.
Long punt.
Should be on the back right there.
Yep. Well read, though, again. That was Elena Williams. Now chance down the side, but it's going to go out of bounds. And well, just really sensing the Buhler is the more confident team right now as Audra Sambo going to check back in, playing on a yellow card right now. And last year in that regular season game, Brad, it was a late red card against McPherson. It was tied at the time, went to overtime, but still, that red card against McPherson was big, and it ended up hurting them in overtime as Buhler won the game. So Sambo's going to, freshman's got to play with a lot of maturity here in the last 20 minutes.
Something to note is we have Prescott back in the game. She had taken a quick break, and I wondered if Coach Adrian had told them to play Prescott outside on the left side a little bit more. And as you see her with the ball, kicking it out of bounds, but creating, again, opportunities for their team just by having the ball, and with her speed, you see Buhler drop immediately when she has it. So we'll see if that ball goes out wide to her more often, and that's a point of emphasis for Coach Adrian moving forward.
Trying to maximize her touches a little bit more because, again, we really haven't said her name much in the second half. But part of that is also because Buhler's had the ball a lot more. Taking the throw in here on the near side for the Crusaders will be Taylor Crayfuls, who's had a good second half here. Looking for McCool. Now Randa played a lot of minutes here in the second half. And here's the aforementioned Grace Prescott, dropping a little bit deeper. At the base of that diamond has been Kenneth Dale all game, and there she is with the ball right now.
Good defensive pressure here again, forcing that ball to go back. It's really well done by Buhler, and then they should move as a unit together across this way, and that's what happens. Like you just almost can. It just almost plays out in a pattern so many times. You see it so many times.
And Juliet Schenk's work rate has been impressive here in the second half, and she helped win that ball back as it went out of bounds. Good skill there from Sambo. Plays it on outside to Randa.
Swim McPherson should look to switch the field a little bit instead of moving it up through. And that's where Buhler's gotten tighter in the middle, which we talked about. And I agree, they are pressing higher. And I wonder what the initial game plan was by Coach Rank, if it was a lower block defensive line. But they certainly have moved up almost 15 or 20 yards, it appears.
Jarrett gets the ball back off for the throw-in. Crayfuls plays it long down the left side. Staying in, but it's probably going to go out of bounds for a goal kick. I don't know if that's front roll or not. It's going to stop before it goes out of bounds. What a ball by Crayfuls. Jarrett wins it back. That should be a throw-in for the Crusaders. It is going to be here in the 62nd minute. And the momentum is clearly on Buhler's side right now, Brad.
It is. And I wish they played. You just want to see 3 balls to feet, and see if they can get an opportunity. Instead of a foot and then a hopeful ball, here's an opportunity for a cross.
Jarrett plays it. And, boy, she had a man at the far post there, but hits it out of bounds.
But Jarrett's did a great job. I mean, even chasing that one down as opposed to just giving up on it. We both thought it might roll out of bounds, and so you appreciate that effort. And then beating somebody around the corner. So, again, reminds us of Prescott in the first half for McPherson.
Herrera will take the goal kick here for the Bull Pups. Again, these teams are separated by just a half game. In our post game, we'll look down the road at the closing schedule, the run-in, as they would say in England. Crayfuls, good ball in the middle to Schenk. Back to Crayfuls. Crayfuls going to try to win it back. We've seen Crayfuls attacking a little bit more here in the second half. The danger is still going to be this counterattack, potentially Bauer. Good work there by Coker. Coker's been really strong there in the middle of the defense, as has Nevaeh Williams.
When you're coaching, you're thinking, how can you simplify the kind of the game plan here? And when I mentioned three really quality passes, that's what you're looking for. Can you get momentum with A, B, C pass and then see what happens? And really, if you'll notice, they've gotten about 1 or 2 at a time for Buhler, and you really want to, can you string that third one? Because that third one's the one to spring somebody open.
Bauer on the right side. Not a lot of options. She's going to play it in the right corner. Shaft. Ball still in.
Watch backside here as well.
Bauer plays the ball across the box. Bounces around. Bauer's going to win it back. There's a mishit pass that's going to go out of bounds back to the Crusaders. Now in the 65th minute.
Coach Adrian's telling the outside back to use that holding mid as they try to force that ball down that sideline as opposed to moving it back to the left, and holding mid with a lot of space and time to see what was available. as the next pass.
In many ways, it feels like a postseason game. It's just a chess match right now, Brad, and it's kind of gotten tight and tense out there. When I say tight, I'm not saying nervous, but both teams just really, I mean, one more opportunity for either team could really end up being the difference one way or the other.
Yeah, and these are the games that really prepare you for the postseason.
Yep.
Not only the crowd, but you talk about just the intensity level and a 1-0 game. These are typically tight games.
Yep. Bauer with a good cross into the middle. Ball's blocked. So it's going to spin out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Bullpups.
I always liken soccer to kind of golf. You got 11 players. It's hard to get that small ball. It seems like a pretty big goal, but it's incredibly difficult when you have a really strong defensive line. And you have to give credit to the Crusaders for, again, how they've defended tonight.
What a turn by Prescott. Shot just goes over the crossbar. Oh, that was a wicked turn there from the talented junior Grace Prescott.
Yeah, that would have been an amazing goal. She was leaning back, and had she stayed over it just a little bit more, it would have been on goal. But give credit to Sammy Brooks. She was right there again.
Yep. I think if that had been on frame, Brooks probably would have had it saved. I mentioned the run-in. Just this week and last week, that's it for the regular season, and then postseason play will start. As a matter of fact, state soccer, the final day of the season, state championship games and the third place games, all at Stryker Sports Complex in Wichita, are on May 31st.
Yeah, just short seasons. As baseball extends some games, soccer is just always a short season, and so before you know it, you blink and it feels like the end of the year's here.
Well, the McPherson tournament was later this year. That went well into April.
Great cut.
Yeah, great cut there by Natalia Crayfuls. Looks to play it up. Ball's cleared. Mishit out of bounds, though.
Great move, and then there's that impact. So they passed one. Can you get two? And really, it should have been passed to an attacking mid coming up because she tried to play it where they have a defender and an attacker at the same space. There was an open attacker behind the forward that should have been played there.
Selmo looks across it, and I like the coaching that Chris Adrian did on that clearance. He essentially said, look, you didn't need to one-time that out. Take a touch.
Yeah, we talk about when it gets tense, in these tense moments, you feel sped up. You feel like everything's coming at you a million miles an hour when it isn't, but the mind speeds up. So play quick but don't hurry. You know, old John Wooden would.
Yeah, the ability to play in tight spaces and to play under pressure, it's so valuable, really in any sport. But sometimes it really gets magnified in this game. Because sometimes you don't think you have time, and you do have time. Good touch there by McCool. Not sure anybody told her she could have turned there. She was looking for Shank. Oh, good work there. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Shank. Shank kind of gave the referee a little look are you sure there?
She's been a workhorse, but they still get to be organized here. And again, as the game ticks down, 12 minutes is a long time in a game, and Buhler's shown that they don't need a lot of time to get an opportunity at goal, as we've talked about there. Their nice early shot that was the best opportunity to have.
Good long ball in the set piece after the foul, but it's going to be a dangerous snubbed out there by Sammy Brooks. I was going to say, Juliet Shank, she may not get the credit that, Michaela Jarrett or Maddie McCool does, but, constantly running out there. And that's what a midfielder has to do, constantly be moving. They put a lot of miles on those legs throughout a game. And Juliet Shank needs to wear a pedometer or something like that. I'd like to know how many miles she covers. Bullpups get it into the box, cleared away. Now, Anselmo couldn't quite keep it in, and it's going to go back to the Bullpups now in the 69th minute. Still 1-0 McPherson.
Coach Rank has two more subs coming in on the sideline, and you wonder if that'll be kind of their last subs of the game here, pending the score. But you'd like to see, as both teams look a little tired or tense, as you mentioned, you'd like to see who can turn it up just a notch here.
That was the first shot on goal in the entire second half by the Bullpups. The first save by Sammy Brooks, and opportunity for McCool. She tried to flick it to herself. Can she win it back? Boy, an awkward challenge. Both players, McCool, I think, hit her head. This is good officiating here. I don't think there was a foul call, but I think McCool hit her head on the turf. This break in the action is brought to you by Pyle Law. If you've been injured at work or in a motor vehicle accident, call Tom Works to get the benefits you deserve. Contact Pyle Law, 620-241-9000. And, the referee is going to have McCool go to the sideline, and you hate it, but it's necessary, Brad. There's such an emphasis on head injuries, and what looked like to me, sitting up here, it looked like McCool's foot kind of slipped on the ball, and her momentum just obviously then just took her down, and she hit her head on the turf. Certainly hope that it's not bad for Maddie, and she's able to come back into this game. We'll give her a quick check, but since McCool was the last player to touch the ball, I think this should go to Buhler, shouldn't it? On the drop ball.
I believe so, and I completely agree with you. Maddie's going right back up to the line. You want to protect players. This is high school soccer, and they have a whole life to live ahead of them. So when we really talk about it, and this 12 minutes left in the game, she'll get back in. It might give her a little rest anyway. It's just a respite to be able to make something happen when she comes back in. But we got to protect players. Yeah, and again, as a competitor, you hate it for it to happen, but as a human. You can't be too careful with head injuries, as the Bullpups have it. Villalobos has it. Looking into the right side, looking to attack into the penalty area is Luoff. Doesn't see anything. Good decision there. Plays it back to Bauer. Bauer checking out her options on the left side. If you look at the layers, McPherson has layers. They have depth behind the ball, and it's almost like a ladder effect. Like if you looked at a ladder, you always want people at different angles. And so right now is a great example, if you can see it at home, of the different angles and spots McPherson High School girls are playing in. Throwing is cleared away as Dale tries to run it down. Big collision there, and Dale's going to get called for a foul. I feel like the officials done a pretty good job here for the most part. I don't have any major complaints. No, it's been a pretty well clean game. Yeah, it really has. Which sometimes in these tight, tense rivalry games can get away from you, but haven't had that, at least not yet. Now in the 71st minute, 1-0 McPherson. Great pressure, great double team, and nice ball. That's one pass. Can they get three? Somebody's checking back to the ball. That was good. There's an open player. Graples just couldn't quite figure out how she wanted to attack there. Ball goes back to Dale. Now Prescott plays it up right side to Luoff. Great turn. Luoff 1v1 here on the right side. Cuts it inside. Still Luoff. Now she loses it. I think that hit McPherson, didn't it? Yes, it did. That's going to be a throw-in as Bauer, who's playing a lot deeper right now. Yep. Are they playing two defensive center mids right now? It looks like I think they're dropping in, and I think they're dropping in one more player a little bit deeper. But I don't know if it's Coach Adrian that's doing that so much as the girls are doing that on their own. Is they're under a little bit more pressure. Ball goes thrown in to Jarrett. Wrong number 7 there. Jarrett still has it. Flips it into the penalty area. Well read there by Ellie Herrera. And this is something that Ellie Herrera, as a freshman, will pick up on. You're up 1-0. There's less than 10 minutes left. Hey, slow it down just a little bit more. I'm not saying you need to take so much time where the referee's going to start barking at you, but she only held the ball for about 2 or 3 seconds there. Hold it 5, 6, 7 seconds. Yep, she'll get used to that. And even that ball out of bounds, where they ran over to get it, and I say that, and they have an opportunity here. And so, there's the other coaching philosophy. If we can get up 3-0, that's a little bit different than 1-0. But I think time and score matters here. Crafels keeps it alive, but she loses it back there as good defense there from Reagan Broadus. Now Broadus looking to attack on the right side. Doesn't have a lot of options. Just find Luoff. Now back to Shaft. Heavy touch there from Shaft, and that's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick for the Buhler Crusaders. No, the referee is actually saying it's a deflected. It's going to be a corner kick, so the referee overrules his assistant referee there. And something to watch here is, Buhler, although I haven't liked the long ball, I do like that they have, I don't know if that's McCool all the way up against the back line of McPherson. You'd like somebody else kind of in the 20-yard line area, see if they can get a quick counterattack. Let's see McPherson keep this ball away from the goal area. There's a decent ball. Ooh. Good effort there. It's going to be another corner kick. Yeah, you like to see somebody fly in. If you have somebody on your team that's willing to kind of mix it up, it's that kind of bruiser, and it's an analogy of hockey. They can get in there. They can really create havoc.
Looking for Dale. There's Dale again.
Yep.
Another decent effort by the defensive center midfielder, but good effort there twice by Kenneth Dale.
And you really, when I say touch tight earlier, you want to make sure you knock them off that line of I'm going to say where they want to go. But if you're not touch tight, they get to go whatever zone and area they need.
Ball's won back by the Bullpups. Looking to get into the box is Shaft. Shaft trying to win it back. She does. Good work there.
Well, this is where you play it right to the middle, right back to the middle where it's.
Had some numbers up there. Bauer tries to whip it into the penalty area, but Sammy Brooks comes out to get it. 74th minute, 1-0. Buhler with the lead.
And they need to get up because she's punted every single time and it's nearly hit the 40-yard line. So they need to be up as a unit. This is where they can maybe not win the first, but the second or third ball here.
Which McCool almost did there. She is back in the game.
There it is. Now past the feet.
Salmo. Not a bad looking ball on the right side. Looking for Natalia Crafels. Crafels tries to cut it back. Good idea there. Anselmo with a decent ball there, the Italian exchange student.
And you're seeing them not move as well as a unit when we talk about Buhler, number 7, Michaela Jarrett. The ball was on the other side, and she kind of stayed on this side and didn't get compact. And you're just seeing them stand a little bit. They look a little worn out.
I know that right now, as we're 5 minutes away from the end, at least in regulation, that the natural instinct for Buhler is to try to throw the ball forward as quickly as can. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but you mentioned second balls here. If you're going to be sending that ball along, be ready for that second ball, which McPherson just won there. That was, again, the aforementioned Kenneth Dale, who's had a pretty good game tonight, especially here in the second half. Dale's been very strong in the back of that defense.
Yes, she has. Look at that battle. Prescott got on the ground and still made something happen and played a nice weighted ball, really.
Yep. Got a decent effort out of that. I mean, a goal kick. I think Coach Chris Adrian, I think he may have wanted a foul there. And I know advantage is always a big thing, but here's where I think Chris Adrian maybe wanted the foul there. Take time off the clock. He's like, hey, we'd rather have a foul there. We don't want advantage there.
Yep, that's pretty high-level play, you know, if you can do that. And those are usually senior plays, senior, junior plays that when they understand. Again, I mentioned that time and score in that moment. McPherson does have a group of, it's almost an umbrella of 6 players, as you mentioned earlier, dropping back. And so they've gotten pretty spread out, but they're dropping several back to force Buhler to go through them.
Yeah, you mentioned fatigue. Starting to maybe sense that a little bit from Buhler here. They spent a lot of this second half playing very well and chasing a little bit and really commanding the midfield. But I do sense that maybe the legs are starting to tire out of them as we're in the 77th minute now.
Yep. And again, that's when you want to play simple. If you're trying to dribble up yourself and you're trying to go 60 yards and you don't have the legs, that's when it's simple pass. It does appear just with the formation that McPherson's allowing for some possession for Buhler to move up the field. And so as a coach, you'd like to see that middle possession and then creativity in the final third.
McCool gets fouled. She'll take the free kick, sends it long. Goes on the far side. Should be Buhler ball still. It is going to be Buhler ball still. So the Crusaders, plenty of time, still over 3 minutes.
That was a great pass.
Yes, it was. As McCool,
great pass.
All kinds of possibilities. She launches it high into the penalty area, and there's a good heads-up play there by, where we're talking about how Ellie Herrera will learn how to manage the game. Instead of keeping that ball in bounds and maybe punting it after 4 or 5 seconds, she lets that ball bounce out of bounds and takes a good 10, 15, 20 seconds off the clock there. Very mature play there from Ellie Herrera.
Absolutely. And on the other side, Maddie McCool, that'll be a great moment to watch film when she had nobody on her. She was kind of going for the home run ball there and just needed to possess or move that ball up the field herself with some penetration.
2.5 minutes remaining. We're in the 78th minute, 1-0 McPherson. Buhler's had a very good second half, though. They've, for about the first 30 minutes, looked like the more likely team to score. Do they have anything left in the tank here to try to get a ball into the penalty area and get an equalizing goal here?
Yeah, if I'm Coach Rank, I'm really pleased with how my team's responded in the second half.
Absolutely. Ball is going to go out of bounds. As Ashlyn Coker let it go, she'll take the throw in. And here's where we're going to see the experience and the savviness of McPherson maybe taking over here.
And I also appreciate that Coach Adrian's not just subbing constantly.
Yep.
Yeah, that always bothers me. I think there's
yeah.
a point in time to do that, but he's not just putting people on the line to sub them in. And he's playing the game because he knows it's bigger than this one moment of time for his team.
Well, I just, even if you wanted to, the clock now stops in the last 5 minutes.
That's a great point, Brad.
But, which does make sense to me. I mean, look, I know.
It's a great point. Yep.
But you don't want the clock to stop right now.
Right.
So I know some coaches will still do it, and in college it's 15 minutes, I think. And I never understood that watching Josie play his last couple of years. Now down to the last 80 seconds here, and the Bullpups are going to take their time getting this ball in. Coming up to take the throw in for the Bullpups is Reagan Broadus. Ball's going to roll out of bounds. That's going to be another throw in for the Bullpups. So that went out with 1:06 left. Let's see when they get this ball in to see how much time they're able to take off the clock here.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Already 10 seconds of taking off the clock, and there's that savviness.
Yep, and they have people around the ball, and they're probably going to throw it right into the corner here, right to feet. They should back up a little bit, give her some space. Yep.
They wasted a good 18 seconds there.
It's just really mature. You mentioned the word mature play.
Ball hit the corner flag there in the far. Ooh, boy, we had a big knockdown there, and the referee's going to call a foul against the Crusaders, and that's probably going to almost do it right there. It's going to be a foul and a free kick, but the Bullpups are not interested in scoring here. They're interested in the last 22 seconds melting off the clock.
Yep, they should play it close. There they go.
Yeah, there they do. Down to 15 seconds. Bauer's going to take it over to the corner flag.
10 seconds. 9.
And there's going to be a goal kick. And the final second is going to tick off the clock. And as you expect in a rivalry like this, it was tight all throughout. But the McPherson Bullpups get their 10th win of the season as they defeat Buhler 1-0 here on that Astra Radio stream. We got a lot more to come up, though. We got our locker room show, so stick around. Got more to come. From the Midway Motors broadcast booth, you're listening to high school soccer coverage on Ad Astra Radio.
Stream the game of the week on your phone or tablet with the Ad Astra Radio app. Next, the AdAstraRadio.com Locker Room Show. Stay tuned as we name tonight's play and player of the game.
The Kansas legal team at Pyle Law handles cases in McPherson County and throughout the state of Kansas. Now is the time to call for your free consultation. This is Liz Pyle, and my husband Tom has over 25 years of experience in all matters relating to workers' compensation, car wrecks, and personal injury law. Tom takes the time to evaluate your options, inform you of your rights, and walks you through the complicated process of seeking compensation for your personal injuries or loss. Contact me at 620-241-9000 and I'll schedule your appointment with Tom today.
I'm Hadley. I'm Bailey.
I'm Morgan.
And I'm Carly. And we're juniors from Haven High School's Rise Up Reno. Today we have an important message to share with the parents and community members of Reno County.
We know the responsibility of keeping young kids safe can be overwhelming, but together everyone can help raise awareness for drug and suicide prevention.
Getting involved with local events like Pumpkinaries and Red Ribbon Week hosted by Rise Up Reno helps promote a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. Your involvement matters and is a step toward a better, safer community. To learn more, visit riseupreno.org. Rise Up Reno!
Experience the best in customer service when you call Alliance Agency Inc. for a Buckeye Insurance Group personal insurance quote. Alliance Agency Inc. can provide insurance coverage to meet your family's needs. Protect your financial future by calling Alliance Agency Inc. at 620-241-0213. Buckeye Insurance Group and Alliance Agency Inc. working together to protect you.
Plaza Astor Realty is your top choice for both commercial and residential real estate. Consistently ranked #1, we've been serving our area for over 40 years. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, our expert team is here to help. Call or visit plaza-astor.com.
When disaster strikes your home or business, call your hometown team. Call Phoenix Restoration, Reno County's only locally owned fire and water restoration company. Check us out at phoenixrestorationandroofing.com. We'll help you rise again after your disaster.
AdAstraRadio.com.
And welcome back to McPherson High School. Brad Haller and Brad Binn's been bringing you all the action from our soccer coverage here at McPherson as the Bullpups defeat Buhler 1-0 on a wonderful evening for soccer. It was a early goal for the Crusaders, or excuse me, for the Bullpups, a 14th-minute goal from Ellie Bauer. That was her 10th of the season. And there's now 4 different Bullpups who have scored at least 10 goals this season. The assist went to Olivia Villalobos, her team-leading 12th of the season. Also going to guess that those 12 assists probably rank among the best, not just in 4A, but in all classifications. Final shots, McPherson finished with 12 attempts to 4 for Buhler, but the shots on goal were almost even, 4-3 in favor of McPherson. 3 saves apiece for Sammy Brooks, the Buhler goalkeeper, and also 3 saves for Ellie Herrera, the McPherson goalkeeper. 1 yellow card issued in the game. That went to the Bullpups. That was Audra Sambo, picked one up in the 58th minute for a foul from behind on Maddie McCool, stopping a promising attack. And for the, get my sheets out here with all the scores for McPherson, that is now their 10th win of the season. And they have won 6 of their last 7, headed into their final couple games, which we'll talk more about here in just a moment. The Buhler Crusaders fall to 8-5, and they continue a tough stretch of games here toward the end of the season as they host Salina South on Thursday. The next week it does get a little bit lighter for the Crusaders as they'll take on Wichita Classical and Salina Central next week in the regular season finales. So we owe you another 2-minute break. We're going to go ahead and get to that now. We'll come back. We'll have more of our locker room show, including our People's Bank and Trust Player of the Game. So we got a lot more coming up. From the Midway Motors broadcast booth, you're listening to high school soccer coverage on Astra Radio.
Stream Astra Radio's local sports coverage on the free Astra Radio app. Download it now. The Astra Radio Sports Network, the statewide leader in local sports coverage.
Controlling your own weather can be easier than controlling anything else these days. This is Julie with RC Heating and Cooling. With a well-working cooling and heating system, you can be in control of your indoor weather at home. With so many things out of our hands, it's a good feeling to have a bit of stability. Call RC for a free estimate on new cooling and heating equipment. Call RC when your unit isn't up to par. Call RC to stay comfortable in any weather. Call RC 241-2787.
Midway Motors offers the most convenient way to service your vehicle with our pickup and drop-off service. Multi-point inspection video texted to you so you can see what the technicians are seeing, handy text approvals of proposed work, and even the option to pay through text. And if you decide it's time to sell your vehicle, we can appraise your vehicle and let you know what it's worth. Schedule your hassle-free service appointment today at midwaymotors.com. Midway Motors, for every mile of life.
This is Derek Fees with APAC Kansas Shears Division. You know we do big projects, but we also want you to know we can help you with parking lots, driveways, and other projects at your home or business. Asphalt or concrete, we're here to help. Call APAC today at 620-662-2112.
I'm Katie Dix, MHS class of 22 and now a McPherson College Bulldog. I have a team that's dedicated to my success. Strong community support paired with the earning power of a McPherson College degree is why I graduated from a Bullpup to a Bulldog. Build your team at mcpherson.edu.
Do you own your own business? Are you looking for customized insurance to protect your business? Hi, this is Brad Patton with Wade Patton Insurance in Hutch. Whether you specialize in auto repairs, used cars, you're a contractor, you have a food truck, own a restaurant, or a vet clinic, Wade Patton Insurance specializes in insurance for you. Stop by and see us today at 6th and Main or check out WadePattonInsurance.com. Independent since '33, Wade Patton Insurance.
AstraRadio.com.
Welcome back to McPherson. Brad Hallier and Brad Ben's been bringing you all the action tonight from our soccer game between McPherson Bullpups and the Buhler Crusaders. And McPherson wins it 1-0 with a 14th minute goal from Ellie Bauer. As we continue with our locker room show here. And so let's go ahead and get to our People's Bank and Trust Player of the Game. People's Bank and Trust with locations across central Kansas since 1898. Community banking at its finest. Brad, who do you like tonight?
Well, I think you and I both agreed that the person who set the tone for the entire game was Grace Prescott, number 7 for the McPherson Bullpups. She did a nice job on that left side. Obviously, her teammates find her. That the thing about soccer is it's not a one-person show. She teammates found her, but she really created some havoc early on and built some momentum and really put the Crusaders on their heels for the majority of the first half. And so, although she didn't get a goal or an assist, I think when you think of just play in general and how she shaped the game, she was the most valuable player tonight.
when we say player of the game, I think we should say the woman of the match. Where this is soccer, we need to have it proper here. So yeah, Grace Prescott, your People's Bank and Trust player of the game. We also wanted to give a few nods to a few Buhler players. Sammy Brooks, the goalkeeper, had another outstanding game. Such a great goalkeeper. And also the center backs for Buhler, including Nevaeh Williams and Ashlyn Coker. We were both really impressed with them tonight.
Yeah, there was a lot of opportunities. You mentioned that McPherson had 12 shots on goal, but they had the ball often at that 20 to 30-yard area away from goal, and we noticed that several of those shots were blocked. I think they could have had upwards of 20 or 25 shots, but center backs did a nice job taking away many of those options, and that's why Coach Rank should be pretty pleased with tonight, although it wasn't the score he wanted. There are some things to build on, and he'll be able to look at film, and I think he'll single out those center backs and say, hey, you really kept us in this, and that's going to matter when we get in the postseason.
And also, Buhler played very well for the first 30 minutes of the second half. We were saying that for those first 30 minutes, they were the team that looked more likely to score, even though there weren't a ton of great chances in that second half. They appeared to be the team that more likely to score there for the first 30 minutes. And I think both coaches, trust me, Coach Rank isn't getting on the bus, pumping his fists and throwing confetti up and down. He's probably not feeling too good right now, losing to your rival in a close game at that. But I think this is the kind of game he's going to get up tomorrow and say, hey, you know what, we gave a pretty good effort. We played pretty well. Yeah, there's things we can work on. A good game going into the postseason. Of course, Chris Adrian, same way. Plenty of film to look at, plenty to improve on. And speaking of games coming up, McPherson, let's look at their game coming up. Thursday, they'll play Wichita Classical right here at McPherson. Matter of fact, neither team has a road game the rest of the season, and with both teams also in line to host regionals, neither team could be on the road for quite a while here. So McPherson, again, Thursday with Classical, and then a tasty game on Mondays. They will host Wichita Trinity, undefeated at this point anyway. Wichita Trinity, who is also the top seed in Class 4A West at the moment. Buhler, again, Thursday with a tough matchup with a good Salina South team. Then they'll play Classical on Monday while McPherson welcomes Trinity. And then Thursday next week, Buhler will end the regular season with Salina Central. Then the postseason pairings will all come out. Again, both teams, at the very least, will be hosting at least a first-round game. Both teams, though, are in line to get the 3 and the 4 seeds and get home field advantage throughout regionals. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Brad, any final thoughts here?
No, I think it's, again, if you're listening, we appreciate you sticking with us, and we appreciate the opportunity to share soccer, with the surrounding community, because it doesn't happen very often, and maybe in the future we'll be able to do some more of these.
Yeah, hey, so send Chris Shank an email. Just say, hey, we appreciated you doing this, and heck, like you said, maybe you got a couple more of these in our future. So your final score again from McPherson. McPherson beats Buhler 1-0. For Brad Benz, this is Brad Hallier. Thanks for listening. Reminding you to do it for Kyler.
At Midway Motors, we are here for you for every mile of life. Whether you're shopping for a new or used vehicle or selling one, Midway Motors will buy your vehicle even if you're not in the market to buy one of ours. Just stop by one of our 5 locations and one of our appraisers will evaluate your vehicle and you can leave with a check the same day. It's fast and easy. Visit MidwayMotors.com for more information. Midway Motors, for every mile of life.